This audiobook is a non-profit fan adaptation of the web novel The Primitive Ancient Snake. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelverseaudio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 801. Where's the largest city in the God Realm? Hung Fu couldn't help but ask. Although he was shocked that a huge city like Wuxia City was just a small border town, he still endured the shock deep in his heart and wanted to ask about these real top cities in the extraterritorial evil world. Naturally, it is Chaos City. The middle-aged man said matter-of-factly. Chaos City is the largest city in the God Realm. There are countless powerful gods living in it, and even the number of god emperors is countless. And its area is also very large, which is not comparable to other cities at all. It is said that its area is not as simple as the entire world, but as large as the entire universe. The other gods also nodded, showing expressions of great longing, just like rural people yearning for big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. That place is simply a holy land in dreams. What? Hearing this, Hung Fu was stunned. How luxurious and unbelievable it is to use a universe as a city. Isn't it really a joke that these extraterrestrial demons are so powerful? He felt that at this moment, he finally saw the iceberg of the power of the extraterrestrial demons. The tip of the iceberg, but it was just the tip of the iceberg which made him feel that there was almost no room for resistance. How to get to Chaos City? Hung Fu couldn't wait to ask. To be honest, if you want to truly understand the weaknesses and strengths of the evil spirits outside the territory, you still need to go to the center of the world. This place where strong people gather is the real place to get information. It's very simple, just take a spaceship, but it requires a lot of chaos coins. If I wanted to go, I would probably have to bankrupt just to afford a ticket. The middle-aged man said with emotion. However, although you can afford it if you lose all your money, it doesn't matter even if you enter Chaos City. If you are not strong enough, you still can't stay in Chaos City. It is better to stay in a border town like Wuxia City. Prices are not very high, you can eat, drink, and make a lot of money, so why go to Chaos City to join in the fun and live under someone else's roof? The other gods also nodded. Although they yearn for Chaos City very much, although Chaos City is big and difficult to live in, I am afraid that if they enter Chaos City, they will not even be able to rent a house. In this case, if they really enter Chaos City, then it will be really difficult for them to live in Chaos City. You are seeking your own death. Lots of chaos coins. Hearing this, Hung Fu was stunned for a moment. He had no idea that the ticket to Chaos City was so expensive. Even a master of the perfect god general level said that he would have to bankrupt his fortune to afford it. He came to the Six Paths universe after dozens of days. I also learned that the so-called Chaos Coin is the universal currency of this world, and it is extremely valuable and has extremely strong purchasing power. Even such a strong man said that he could not afford it, let alone a newcomer like him. Rookie, is there no other way to reach Chaos City? Hung Fu couldn't help but ask. Of course, if you don't want to take the boat, then go there on foot. The middle-aged man said calmly. The problem is that the God Realm is a vast area, and there is boundless chaotic void everywhere. There are hundreds of trillions of light years between each other. Such a long distance if you fly slowly alone. I don't even know how long I need to fly. It would be fine if it was just a long way to go, but there are many void monsters living in the chaotic void. Their strength is powerful, terrifying, and unfathomable. If you accidentally encounter these monsters, you may be killed instantly and become the opponent's food. Every year, many gods are killed by monsters in the chaotic void, leaving no bones. Hung Fu immediately understood that this ticket not only saved him a lot of time, but more importantly, it ensured his safety. If there is no protection from the spacecraft, if he sets out alone, he will be killed in an instant, killing robbers and monsters on the road. He entered this world of extraterrestrial evil spirits to search for information and find the weaknesses of this world, but the goal has not been achieved yet. He must not die before leaving. At this moment, he can be regarded as putting an end to it. Thoughts on hiking to Chaos City? Is there any way to earn a lot of chaos coins? Hung Fu couldn't help but ask. Since he can't go to Chaos City on foot, the only plan for now is to earn a lot of Chaos coins and earn a boat ticket to Chaos City. This is the only strategy. Your strength is mediocre, so you probably work as a bodyguard. If you go out to kill wild beasts in the wild, you won't be able to do it. I'm afraid you will only get killed as soon as you go out. The middle-aged man touched his chin. Although you should feel free to find a job in the city that guarantees harvests during droughts and floods. At least staying in Wuxia City will ensure your safety. After all, although the God Realm is in chaos and there are killings everywhere, fighting, but it is still very safe in the city. No one dares to act wild. Find a job? So what job should I look for? What kind of job is both rich and easy? Hung Fudong asked. Although he sneered at finding a job, after all, he was a big boss when he was in the Supreme Universe, the man behind the scenes of a big force. He enjoyed countless glory and wealth, and he never did it for money. He was worried. But after coming to this world of extraterrestrial evil spirits, all the treasures and money he had on him were lost, and he was simply a pauper. So, under forced circumstances, he could only find a job in the God Realm and earn some money. Chaos Coin, this is the only feasible and safe method currently. Rich and easy job? Why don't you go to Chaos City? I would also like to apply for such a job. A god next to him suddenly laughed, laughing very loudly. Okay, I am a little guy who has just ascended to the God Realm. It is normal to not know the situation here. By the way, what skills are you proficient in? Tell me and listen. Maybe I can give you some advice. The middle-aged man asked. To be honest, when I was in the lower realm, I was also a well-known alchemy master. I was also a master of weapon refining. I also dabbled in battle techniques, painting, and music. Hung Fudo said modestly. In fact, he is an all-around genius. Because his talent is too high, he can do all decathlons. He often masters many things as soon as he learns them. By now, he is already one of the few in the Supreme Universe, the Grand Master. So even if he doesn't have any Chaos coins, he believes that with his skills, he can definitely make a name for himself in this world of extraterrestrial evil spirits. He might even be able to earn a lot of Chaos coins soon, and by then at that time, it would not only be as simple as earning a ticket to Chaos City, but he might also become rich overnight and live a very luxurious life in this world of extraterritorial evil spirits. At that time, he would eat the food of these extraterritorial evil spirits and live here. This group of guys suffered heavy losses from the houses of demons from outside the territory. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 802. Master of Alchemy. Master of Weapon Refining? It seems that you have put in a lot of hard work in the lower realm. Hearing this, the middle-aged man was very curious. By the way, have you refined any chaos magic weapon or any god-level elixir? If you have a work, I'm afraid many gods will rush to get it from you. He looked at Hung Fudo curiously. Hung Fudo looked confused. He didn't even know what this guy was talking about, what kind of chaos magic weapon he had refined, and what kind of nonsense this extraterrestrial evil demon was talking about. His head was sure no problem? To be honest, isn't the chaos magic weapon the most top magic weapon in the universe, naturally bred by the Supreme Universe, and the only most powerful magic weapon between heaven and earth? Such a magic weapon is hard to come by, and all the strong people who can possess it will have it. There are not many, but judging from the tone of these guys, such a chaos magic weapon can actually be refined. What a joke. Let alone a chaos magic weapon, even an innate magic weapon, a magic weapon that is born innately, is unique. Most of the saints in the Supreme Universe would be ecstatic if they were qualified to possess an innate magic weapon. If they could possess an innate magic weapon, they would be able to walk sideways with their nostrils pointed upward. No saints want to refine an innate magic weapon. It can be done. He is the master of weapon refining in the Supreme Universe. He can refine the most powerful magic weapon, which is the Supreme Immortal weapon. This is the top magic weapon after the innate magic weapon. This achievement has swept all the masters of weapon refining. made countless masters of weapon refining pay homage to him, wishing they could come to him crying and kneel down to worship him. But what happened to this extraterrestrial evil spirit? He actually asked him if he had ever refined a chaos magic weapon, and asked him if he had any. There are no masterpieces of chaos magic weapons. This is crazy. Who can be so good at refining chaos magic weapons? And what the hell are god-level elixirs? Generally speaking, aren't god-level elixirs rare in the world? Is it hard to find in the world? Trying to refine it basically relies on luck, otherwise you will never be able to refine it in your lifetime. If nothing else, just trying to find the elixir to refine god-level elixirs is it's impossible. I don't even have the materials, and I still want to refine a god-level elixir. Isn't this a fool's dream? But this guy asked him if he had ever refined any god-level elixir. Is this humiliating? And you are still talking nonsense to him, trying to fool him. Ahem, I have never refined chaos magic weapons or god-level elixirs. Hung Fudong coughed and honestly told his level.
What?
You haven't even refined the chaos magic weapon, which means you can't even successfully refine the innate treasure. I'm afraid no one will want you at this level. The middle-aged man shook his head with a look of regret. To be honest, there are too many masters of weapon refining and alchemy with half a bucket of water, just like Crucian carp crossing the river. After all, the gods in the god realm are so big, and their lifespans are extremely long. With such a long lifespan, even a fool can improve the level of weapon refining and alchemy to a very high level. The question is which person who is promoted to the realm of gods is a fool. Everyone is a smart person. In this way, the level of refining weapons can be improved to a very high level. Those who make innate magic weapons are only beginners. Only by refining chaos magic weapons can one be considered to have entered the palace and surpassed the gods. Of course, if this level is in the fairy world, it will naturally crush many immortals. But comparison, all the gods in the divine world are all gods. There is not much difference in their cultivation level. Everyone has the same ordinary level. Naturally, they cannot stand out. Just like the students of Tsinghua University and Peking University, everyone has similar academic performance. Basically, there is no one. It's a shortcoming. If you don't have an absolute advantage, how can you become a top student in such a school? The same is true in the world of gods. Sorry, my level is a bit low. Hung Fudo is ashamed. He is a top man in the supreme universe. After coming to this world of extraterrestrial evil spirits, he has completely disappeared from everyone and I can't even find a job. But you can't blame him. It's not that his talent is not enough, it's that the environment between the two parties is too different. Not to mention that the Six Paths universe has a lot of advanced cultivation knowledge, various methods of refining weapons, and various methods of refining alchemy, far beyond the Supreme Universe. Just talking about the resources of the Six Paths universe, they are not comparable to the Supreme Universe. For example, various materials for refining chaos magic weapons are everywhere in the Six Paths universe. Although they are considered precious, they are still not comparable. It is rare. With such a huge amount of weapon refining materials as a training method for the weapon refining master, then just by accumulating the amount of practice, a bunch of weapon refining masters can be cultivated. But what about the Supreme Universe? It can refine the chaos treasure. There are really too few materials, almost none. In fact, let alone the materials for the chaos treasure, even the materials for the innate magic weapon are very few. In this way, how can the ascetics of the Supreme Universe have a chance? Refining an innate magic weapon is a difficult task for a clever woman. If you have the intention, you may not have the strength. Even if you are lucky enough to get together a piece of material for refining the innate magic weapon, the opportunity is only once, and failure will never happen again. In this case, which weapon refining master can accumulate experience? Therefore, this also leads to the fact that the weapon refining master of the Supreme Universe has no experience in refining innate magic weapons, nor does he have the technology and power to refine innate magic weapons. The same reason. God-level pills, the medicinal ingredients of the medicine, are also difficult to find in the Supreme Universe. Each portion is priceless, enough to bankrupt all the gods in the supreme universe. Therefore, the coming and going has opened up a huge gap between the level of the Six Paths universe and other supreme universes, and such a gap is almost irreparable. It is purely a huge advantage in the environment. Don't know what other jobs I'm suitable for? Hung Fu couldn't help but ask. Since his abilities can't play any role in the world of evil spirits outside the territory, then at least there are other jobs he can do. He doesn't want to stay in Huaxi City all the time, eating here and waiting to die. He wants to buy a boat ticket to arrive at Chaos City. Well, you are not strong enough, have no skills, are not highly educated, and have no background. It seems that if you want to make money, you can only sell your labor. The middle-aged man said seriously. Selling labor? Hung Fudong was stunned for a moment, not knowing what the other party was talking about. Yes, it means selling your labor. You go to the restaurant to wash dishes. Nowadays, various restaurants in Huaxi City are in short supply of dishwashing workers. After all, this kind of thing is tiring and dirty. Not many gods are willing to do it, but the salary is pretty good, and the requirements are high. It's very low, very suitable for gods like you, who have just ascended. The middle-aged man said loudly. Go to the restaurant to wash the dishes. Hearing this, Hung Fu was so angry that his face turned green. He was the top power of the Supreme Universe, the leader of a transcendent force, and he actually came what a joke to wash dishes in a world of demons outside the realm. He would rather die than accept such a job. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 803. A few days later, in Huaxi City, in the kitchen of Kaiyuan Hotel. Many gods are washing dishes in the kitchen. One of them is Hung Fang. Hateful. Hung Fudo gritted his teeth and was extremely aggrieved. He originally didn't want to come to the restaurant to wash dishes, but he spent several days looking for a job in Huaxi City. But no matter how hard he tried, there was no place that wanted him. Because of his abilities are so mediocre that he can't even stand out in the god realm. All his abilities are only half a bucket of water, which makes him completely unemployed. If he just wants to eat and wait to die, that's totally fine, but he has a huge burden on his shoulders. Zhongren had just lurked into this world where extraterrestrial evil spirits lived, and he absolutely couldn't let himself be decadent like this. So, after thinking about it, he decided to come to the restaurant to wash dishes. After all, this is the best job he can find with his current ability. Besides, he really can't find a second job with high salary and such safety. The so-called great responsibility given to this person by heaven will definitely strain his mind, strain his muscles and bones, and starve his body and skin. He can be regarded as a monk with great perseverance and great wisdom understands that this is just a temporary suffering. As long as he can gain a foothold in this world of external evil spirits, he will turn over sooner or later. And washing the dishes is not that simple. Because in the world of gods most of the food is very special, containing the blood, flesh, and other special powers of wild beasts, savage beasts, and other terrible creatures. If you want to cook it successfully, you need a lot of special seasonings. Even if you load these gods' food, it also requires a specially made plate to carry it. Every time you put food in it, it will contaminate a plate made of special materials. This plate is covered with curses, corrosion, and other stains. If you want to completely remove it, you need a god. They use their magic to remove it bit by bit, but this is a hard job. Obviously, the powerful gods disdain to do this kind of thing. But in this way, the restaurant needs to recruit a large number of low-level gods to help wash the dishes. After all, these dishes are especially refined, expensive, and cannot be thrown away casually. Fortunately, otherwise, those lower gods would not be able to find a job without any requirements. From another perspective, it can be regarded as promoting the employment of ordinary gods. Providing job opportunities. Call. After working for a day, I didn't know how many dishes I washed. Hung Fudong took a deep breath, left the restaurant, and returned to his temporary residence in Huaxi City. No, you have to contact other spies. If there are other spies to help, it may not be so hard. Hung Fudo's eyes revealed a glint. In fact, Hung Fudo is not the only spy who sneaked into the world of extraterrestrial demons this time. Basically, every supreme universe will choose a spy. But not every spy can. Some of those who successfully evaded the 6 paths of reincarnation were killed instantly after being discovered by the 6 paths of reincarnation, and some successfully sneaked in. And He Hongfang was one of those who successfully sneaked into this world. Even if some of the spies died, there are still some spies left. As long as he can successfully contact other spies and gather everyone's strength, he may be able to change the current situation. In order to be able to distinguish the difference between the enemy and his own people, the supreme will of the universe is in the souls of these spies. In the depths, a spiritual seed is planted, which is extremely powerful and unique. With this spiritual seed, they can distinguish the spy relationship between each other and even sense each other at a long distance. I don't know if there are other spies in this city. Hung Fu was moved in his heart. He activated the spiritual seeds in the depths of his consciousness and continued to spread the spiritual fluctuations in the depths of the consciousness, spreading out in circles. Such special mental fluctuations, if he encounters the same if they use spiritual seeds, they can immediately resonate with each other. However, he feels that the chance of finding a companion is not very great. After all, the divine world is so big, and he doesn't know how many cities are in it. Wanna be in the vast sea of people? Finding a companion is like finding a needle in a haystack. But he just gave it a try and did his best to obey fate. Well, wait, there are actually spies from other supreme universes in this city? In an instant, Hung Fu was shocked. He sensed that in another place in Huaxi City, there was actually a spiritual seed that echoed his own spiritual fluctuations. There is no doubt that this must be another spy from the Supreme Universe, and the other party's location is not very far from where he is now, just 2 or 3 streets away. This world is too small. Hung Fu was so excited at this moment that he rushed out immediately without saying a word. He walked out of the house and chased in the direction of the other spy. Whoosh! It didn't take long for Hung Fu to move forward. Along the way, he passed a gloomy street, surrounded by dilapidated houses and broken walls everywhere. There is also garbage everywhere. This place is the famous slum in Huaxi City. Many people who are so poor that they lose their pants come to live here because they don't have to pay rent. I see, the big ones are hidden in the city and the small ones are hidden in the mountains? Surely? In order to avoid exposing his identity, this companion chose to live in the slums and mingle with the local residents. Thinking of this, Hung Fudo suddenly felt twice as fond of this companion he had never met before. He was a god who could endure hardship and abandon his dignity like this. It's really rare. Soon, based on his perception deep in the sea of consciousness, he came to a shabby thatched house, and inside there happened to be this old man wearing tattered clothes. The other person seemed he had not shaved his head for a long time. His hair was thick, his face was full of beards, and his hair was like weeds. The ground was covered with wine bottles, and the air was filled with an unpleasant stench of alcohol. It was as if the other person had not taken a shower for a long time. Former senior. Seeing the appearance of this old man, Hung Fu was a little confused. To be honest, if it weren't for the perception deep in the sea of consciousness, he would have thought he had found the wrong person. He couldn't believe it at all that the old man in front of him was actually the same as him. They are all spies sent by the supreme origin of the universe. Damn it, loan sharks. In an instant, the old man woke up with a start and seemed to feel the immovable breath. He moved like a rabbit, and his movements were so slippery that he wanted to escape from here. It can be imagined that his escape movements were all I don't know how many times I've gone through it. Practice makes perfect. Wait, senior, I'm not a loan shark. Don't run away in a hurry. In an instant, Hung Fudong shouted, indicating that he was not here to cause trouble for the other party. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 804. What? Are you not a loan shark? Hearing this, The old man stopped immediately and breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that he had sobered up at this moment. He looked at Hung Dongdong with a bit of surprise. But if you are not a lone shark, then why do you keep looking for me? Are you my son and want to recognize your ancestors? I'll tell you honestly, you've seen the current situation. I'm currently in ruins, I still owe lone sharks, and I'm being chased. I'm in a lot of trouble. If you want to acknowledge me, you'd better think clearly. No. Who comes to you to recognize your ancestors? Hung Fong bared his teeth, wondering what was going on with this old man. He took advantage of others as soon as he opened his mouth. If you feel it carefully, you and I should be the same type of people. He circulated the mental power in his body, stimulating special mental fluctuations.
What?
With a bang, the old man's eyes flashed horribly, and terrifying divine power fluctuations filled his body subconsciously, seeming to sweep across all directions, shocking and frightening everyone. Da Hung Fudo almost fell down. God King, this is definitely a God King. Before Hung Fudo could finish being shocked, the aura on the old man's body instantly calmed down. It seemed that such fluctuations in divine power had not erupted out of this room. Outside the house. That's it. I didn't expect that after such a long time, someone would actually be sent over. The old man said quietly. What's the meaning? Aren't you from the same group as me? Hearing this, Hung Fu was surprised. He felt that he had discovered an earth-shattering secret. Who told you they were the first batch? The old man glanced sideways. Before you, there were actually 18 groups of the same people who entered this world of extraterrestrial evil spirits, and I am one of them. They have been living in this world of extraterrestrial evil spirits for a long time. If that's the case, why isn't any news coming back? Hung Fu couldn't help but ask. He was shocked in his heart. 18 groups of spies had entered the world of extraterrestrial evil spirits before them, but so far he had not received any news or intelligence. Pass it back? How to send it back? The old man spread his hands and said, the rigor of this extraterrestrial evil world is beyond the imagination of a rookie like you. It has formed a perfect cycle of reincarnation without any loopholes. Even if you get the information, there is no way you can send it back to the Supreme Universe. And more importantly, the water in this world of extraterrestrial evil spirits is many times deeper than you think. Basically, all your predecessors are dead. Impossible, are they all dead? How did he die? Was his identity exposed? Hung Fu was shocked, because those who can be selected as spies are not outstanding geniuses. They are all top monsters in the Supreme Universe. How can such monsters die so easily? He doesn't believe such a thing at all. Very simple, the old man said lazily. Some guys were unlucky enough to appear in the wilderness. As a result, they were besieged and killed by wild beasts and savage beasts, and their bodies were divided into pieces. Some guys were lucky enough to land near the city, but they couldn't accept the fact that they were mediocre in the God realm. In order to earn chaos coins, they did some unprofitable business. Unfortunately, they were killed in a vendetta. Some guys are very honest and stay in the city to work, but sometimes they get into trouble and get jealous of others, and end up being killed secretly. Some people were so ambitious that they spent a lot of chaos coins and a lot of time to go to Chaos City, trying to get ahead in Chaos City. Unfortunately, they unintentionally offended some powerful gods in Chaos City and were killed. What's the meaning? Didn't any of these people reveal their identities and all died because of ordinary things? Hung Fudong was stunned. Reveal your identity? These extraterrestrial evil spirits never thought that people from other universes would come here, nor did they have the consciousness of spies. However, this world is too dangerous and there are too many strong people. Even ordinary dangers are enough to wipe us out. The old man shook his head. Only someone like me, who lives peacefully in the God realm, doesn't engage in espionage activities, doesn't stir up trouble, and just eats and waits for death, can I survive until now. But if this happens, what will we do in our Supreme Universe? Are you just going to watch the lives in our Supreme Universe being harmed by these extraterritorial evil spirits? Hung Bu is angry, And when he is angry, he does not fight and mourns his misfortune. Do you think we can shake this world of extraterrestrial evil spirits with our strength? Zhang Yuanzi's own power, coupled with the power of the earthly immortal realm, I am afraid that dozens of god emperors will besiege him, but they will be unable to do anything to him. This is already a super fortress. Obviously, Zhang Yuanzi has thought of a deeper level. Even if he is surrounded by dozens or hundreds of god emperors, they will not be able to kill him or destroy his plan. Even this world is hidden deep in the void and deep dimensions by Zhang Yuanzi. Even if the god emperor wants to find traces of this world, it is extremely difficult. It is difficult to find, and even if you find it, it is difficult to attack. Moreover, Zhang Yuanzi, the ancestor of the Earth Immortal, is sitting here, which makes it extremely impregnable. However, Zhang Yuanzi is such a cautious person. Even if he is promoted to the realm of divine emperor perfection, he is still cautious, never careless, and careful of all dangers.
Wow.
At this moment, 30 years passed in an instant, and the magical fruit tree instantly condensed hundreds of millions of magical fruits. Each magical fruit bloomed with a faint golden light and seemed to contain incredible magical power. Go ahead and find the right owner for yourself. Zhang Yuanzi waved his hand. Whoosh! In an instant, billions of magical fruits were wrapped in a force of space, and they flew out and submerged into the chaotic void, heading in all directions of the universe. Flying over, Zhang Yuanzi didn't care who would get these magical fruits. Anyway, if he could get them, he was destined.
Boom.
Immediately, he sat cross-legged on the ground, circulating the magic power in his body and comprehending the avenue of heaven and earth. He didn't need it. To fight for it, all he has to do is wait for time to pass slowly. When these magical fruits resound throughout the supreme universe and gather all the general trends, that is when he will be promoted to the Lord of the universe. At this time, magical fruits appeared silently in any corner of the universe, either on a planet, in a small world, or in an abyss world, or in valleys, farmland, the sea, mountains, or deserts. In short, these magical fruits have no rules and can appear anywhere, and the power of each magical fruit is different.
Huh?
What is this? On a certain planet or in a certain village, a child was grazing cows. Suddenly a fruit fell from the sky and hit him on the head. He picked it up and took a look and found that it was a strange fruit. Even if he has seen many fruits in the countryside, but he has never seen this style of fruit. What kind of fruit is this?
Can it be eaten?
I ate it and saw. My God, it tasted as bad as acai. The child was so curious that he picked up the fruit and ate it. Suddenly, he felt an unpleasant smell and an indescribable texture. He wanted to spit it out immediately, but it was too late. Because when the first time he took a bite, the entire mysterious fruit melted and turned into a strange liquid, which instantly blended into his limbs and bones. Fire, fire, fire. My whole body is on fire. In an instant, the child screamed, because he suddenly found that flames were coming out of his whole body. His nose, mouth, ears, and eyes all spurted out a lot of flames. It seemed that he had turned into a burning man at this moment. Normally, as a child, he had never encountered such a thing before and immediately started yelling. But soon he discovered that although his whole body was on fire, he did not feel burned at all. It seemed that my body has long been accustomed to the flames. Can I control fire? The child was overjoyed. He immediately knew that he might have encountered an incredible adventure. A waiter in a store who was bullied by others in the world took a fruit one day. When he was bullied again, he couldn't bear it anymore and broke out in vain. His entire body seemed to have turned into a poisonous person, with all kinds of poisonous gases erupting from his body. Wherever the venom went, it turned into a highly poisonous place. All creatures that came close to him were poisoned to death, and humans and animals were exterminated. He also became the famous Poison Lord, making countless lives fearful of him. There were also people who were being chased and had no way out. They came to the edge of the cliff and planned to jump off the cliff. However, they accidentally took a thunder fruit and mastered the thunder in an instant. Those who were chasing him were immediately killed. Wanjun Thunder was electrocuted to death by the violent power of thunder. He also became the supreme master of thunder, and his body was filled with crackling lightning all year round. In fact, similar things keep happening in this supreme universe. The emergence of magical fruits changed the lives of countless mortals in an instant. Normally, these mortals would be extremely ordinary throughout their lives and would have no chance of getting ahead. But after taking these magical fruits, he immediately mastered powerful magical powers and gained powerful combat power far beyond other practitioners. You know, those practitioners need to spend decades, hundreds, or even tens of thousands of years before they can master such an extremely powerful power. But these mortals can master this power instantly after just taking one fruit. This kind of thing also makes countless mortals in the entire universe go crazy. Whether they are ordinary people or dignitaries, they all want to find such magical fruits and take them. Because such magical fruits can be taken by anyone regardless of high or low status. It is also because mortals who have mastered the power of supernatural powers are too crazy, because if a mortal suddenly masters powerful power, if his character is not strong enough, he will kill people everywhere, do evil everywhere, and turn into a demon. Therefore, such magical fruits are also feared by countless beings, thinking that they are devil fruits, and they are terrible fruits spread by demons to the world. Gradually, a legend spread throughout the entire supreme universe. In the deepest part of the universe, a devil fruit tree grew. Every 30 years, a batch of devil fruits would be born. And these devil fruits will also spread to various places in the universe. If anyone takes these devil fruits, they will be able to master incredible demonic power and possess extremely tyrannical power. Because of this, the emergence of magical fruits immediately caused earth-shaking changes for all life and all forces in the entire supreme universe. Countless mortals dream of encountering a devil fruit and mastering powerful demonic power. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 810. XX Supreme Universe. At this moment, in a dirty, dark world, there is a vast sea of blood flowing turbulently, like blood molten water, constantly rolling. In this sea of blood, densely packed skeletons and countless innocent souls seem to emerge. It can be said that this sea of blood is simply the dirtiest place in the universe. It is the place where countless wronged souls gather. Even a drop of liquid can corrode the soul and body of life. At this time, a young man wearing a bloody robe stood on the sea of blood, exuding the inexplicably powerful aura of the Great Law. He is the famous ancestor of Styx, and he also participated in this Six Paths contest for gods. Finally succeeded, and finally reappeared the Styx and Sea of Blood in this universe. Ancestor Styx laughed, feeling very happy. In order to win from the Six Paths contesting gods, he thought hard about the way to win, and found that if he wanted to win and defeat other gods, he had to create the Styx Sea of Blood. He was in the Sea of Melted Blood. As long as the Sea of Blood does not dry up, he will not die. In this way, who can defeat his Styx ancestor? Of course, this supreme universe naturally does not have the same Sea of Blood as the Six Paths universe. But is this possible? The patriarch of the inverted Styx, as a powerful man at the level of the God Emperor, creating a low-level Styx blood sea is really childish. Although it is not as good as the blood sea of the Six Paths universe, in this supreme universe, it can be considered it is extremely powerful and can even be said to be an immortal magic weapon. In order to achieve this goal, he searched everywhere in the universe to find the Sea of Dirt, gathered hundreds of trillions of resentful spirits, and finally succeeded in creating the Sea of Blood. Fortunately, there is no hell in the supreme universe, and there is no place to accommodate evil ghosts and resentful spirits. Therefore, when the powerful people in this universe die, they will turn into evil ghosts and resentful spirits, wreaking havoc on the entire world until they are eliminated by other powerful people. Will completely disappear. Because of this supreme universe is full of evil ghosts and evil spirits, which also brings great convenience to the ancestor of Styx, who can easily collect a large number of wronged souls and evil spirits. In fact, he is like this: the act of collecting evil ghosts and wronged souls actually brings benefits to ordinary life in this world. After all, these evil ghosts and resentful spirits have disappeared and gathered in the sea of blood in the river Styx, so ordinary people will not be harmed by evil ghosts. Erosion, being killed by evil spirits for no reason. This can be regarded as reducing a large number of killings in the world and reducing a large number of casualties. Come out, Azura clan. Ancestor Styx waved his hand.
Wow.
In an instant, from the sea of blood, countless flesh and souls gathered together, and powerful beings appeared, filled with the terrifying aura of Shura. Among them, the men are extremely ugly, and the women are unparalleled in beauty, but without exception, they all have extremely powerful fighting power, as if they are immortal creatures. This is the Azura clan created by the ancestor of Styx. In order to conquer this supreme universe, rule all races in this universe, and successfully seize the supreme universe, he naturally cannot fight alone, so he needs his subordinates. And they are not ordinary subordinates, they are loyal and powerful subordinates. So he directly created the Azura clan and these Azura warriors. Although they are far inferior to those perverted Shuras in the Shura path of the Six Paths universe, they are just creatures condensed from the sea of blood, but in this supreme universe, they already have an overwhelming advantage. The most important thing is that the sea of blood is boundless, and he can also create countless Azura warriors. This is like a biochemical laboratory with endless energy to create clones. Ancestor. These Azuras are all kneeling on the sea of blood, respecting the ancestor Styx with great respect, because they know that they were created by the great being in front of them. This is the Supreme Father God. Very good, ancestor. Styx was very satisfied. From now on, you will be the 4 demon kings under me. By the way, your names will be called Zazai Tianbusun, Brahma Tian, Yes Tian, and Shiva. He pointed at the 4 most powerful Azuras among them. Thank you, ancestor, for giving me the name. Zazai Tianbusun and other Azuras were overjoyed. With their ancestors appointing them, they will become the 4 strongest demon kings of Azuras in the future, second only to their ancestors. There are 4 of you, the 4 great demon generals of my Azura clan. Your names are Indra, Vishnu, Rutra, and Ghost Mother respectively. Ancestor Styx pointed at the 4 weaker Azuras again. Thank you, ancestor, for giving me the name. Indra and the other 4 great demon generals are also delighted. Although they are not as famous as the 4 great demon kings, they are second only to the 4 great demon kings and are enough to control hundreds of millions of Azura warriors. However, they also have a feeling deep in their hearts. Vaguely dissatisfied, they may also become demon kings. But in front of their ancestors, they dare not attack yet. Of course, the most important thing is that the power of the 4 demon kings is indeed very powerful, far beyond imagination. And you are the heavenly concubine Yumo, and you are the 72 princesses of my Azura. Ancestor Styx clicked again, and some of the powerful female Shura. Yes, ancestor. Tianfei Wuma and other female Shura are also ecstatic. Obviously, their status is very high. As the princesses of the Azura clan, they can also rule hundreds of millions of Shura warriors. You must practice hard and increase your strength as soon as possible. We must rule the entire supreme universe. The Azura clan, must be invincible wherever we go. The ancestor of the Styx River is full of murderous intent. He has high expectations for these Azuras. After all, they were created by him by studying Nua's creative skills and combining them with the special power of the Styx Blood Sea. And the Azuras are members of the Azura clan. Not only is their combat power powerful, but most importantly, they are very cheap. Even if they die in battle, as long as the Sea of Blood does not dry up, Azura warriors will continue to be born. It can be said that with these fierce and large numbers of Azura warriors, who are not afraid of death, he can definitely sweep through all races in the entire supreme universe and defeat other gods. Of course, the most important thing is his own cultivation. With the power of the Styx and Sea of Blood, he can obviously go one step further. Yes, many Azura warriors shouted. They are all born warriors, thirsting for blood and killing. As time went by, the Azura clan began to appear in this supreme universe. Their fearless fighting style and powerful fighting power resounded throughout the world. And the reputation of Patriarch Styx has spread throughout the supreme universe, and he is feared by countless beings and frightened by the news. Even the power of the Azura clan is constantly growing, occupying planet after planet and world after world. The power of the Styx and Sea of Blood is also growing at a geometric rate. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 811. XX Supreme Universe. Suddenly, a chaotic sound resounded through the Supreme Universe and reached the depths of the sea of consciousness of every powerful being. I am Hongjun, and I have now attained the Tao. Those who are destined can come to the Xixiao Palace of Xixiao Star to listen to the Tao. Such a chaotic sound sounded 3 times, and was heard by many practitioners in the Supreme Universe. No saint had ever done anything like this in the Supreme Universe before. Immediately, this incident caused countless cultivators in the Supreme Universe to become excited. Hongjun? What kind of person is this? He speaks so loudly and dares to preach. Does he think that his cultivation level has surpassed that of all cultivators and that he can become a master in the world? A powerful man snorted coldly, feeling very unhappy. He felt that this kind of behavior was simply provoking the cultivators in the world. It is obvious that the strength of this Hongjun ancestor is extraordinary. He has at least been promoted to the realm of a saint. His Chaos Dao sound spread throughout the universe is extremely brilliant. Another powerful man shook his head. He thought that this ancestor Hongjun must be an extraordinary big man. After all, just spreading his voice to every corner of the entire universe is extremely difficult. Ordinary saints can't
do it.
At least he can't do it. The stronger his cultivation is, the more he understands that this is difficult to do. On the contrary, the more ignorant people are, the more fearless they will be. You're right. Since the other party is giving a sermon, why don't we go over and listen? If something is wrong, we can expose the other party on the spot. If it is really useful, we can also be of great benefit, so why not do it? A powerful man smiled slightly, calm. He actually thought this was a rare opportunity. After all, the number of saints in this universe was rare, and no saint had ever preached before. After all, who among the saints who have been promoted to this realm is not he was hiding it, for fear that the enemy would know his details? How could he be so kind and disclose all his cultivation methods?
This is simply a way to die.
But this ancestor Hongjun was shocking and directly disclosed his cultivation methods. The announcement of the method is really shocking. This is a magnanimity that no saint can achieve. Indeed, without Sansansan, how could he dare to go to Liangshan? Since he dares to open a forum to preach and invite all living beings to come and listen, it is enough to prove his magnanimity and cultivation. The saint is preaching. This is an unprecedented event. You should go and listen to it. That is, even if it cannot be of great benefit, you can still make friends with others, so why not do it? Many powerful people were talking about it, and they all wanted to go over and see what happened, to see what the saint who dared to preach in the Supreme Universe has 3 heads and 6 arms. In addition to the great power of attaining enlightenment, this incident also caused excitement among countless beings in the Supreme Universe. Because in this universe, most sects are very secretive and would never be willing to reveal their own sect's cultivation methods. All of them are top secrets. As a result, the vast majority of mortals, if they do not join these sects, will not be able to obtain the true inheritance of the sects, nor will they be able to obtain any cultivation methods. Now, there is actually a saint who is willing to give a sermon and talk about his own cultivation method. What an extraordinary encounter this is. It simply makes countless lives boil. After all, This is not an ordinary powerful person, but an enlightened person who has achieved enlightenment and become a saint. How earth-shattering and incredible is the practice method of such beings. Once obtained, they can also obtain the method of enlightenment. Xianxia Palace? Is this the training palace of Saint Hongjun? It seems that the Xianxia Palace is among the Xianxia stars, at least thousands of light years away from us. It doesn't matter, the opening sermon has not started yet and there is still a lot of time. With our speed, we should be able to reach Xianxia Palace before the sermon. An adventure. This is definitely an earth-shattering adventure. If we miss this village, we won't have this shop. We must not miss this saint sermon. You are right. If we are lucky, maybe we can also worship a saint as our teacher. In this way, we will reach the sky in one step and stand above hundreds of millions of people. Without further ado, let's head to Xianxia Palace quickly. If we fall behind others, we may not be able to grab a spot at all. Damn it, we are really far away from Xianxia Palace. Even if we try our best to rush there, we won't be able to make it there. No fate, really no fate. It seems that we have no chance. Many cultivators are talking about it. Countless cultivators from all over the universe are rushing towards Xianxia Palace. They all want to listen to the teachings under the sage. But some cultivators who are too far away, all of them, they were all beating their feet and chests because they were too far away from Xianxia Palace. Even if they risked their lives to rush there, the sermon would probably be over before they arrived. So they had no choice but to you can choose to give up. But this is everyone and everyone's destiny, and you can't force it. Of course, in addition to the natives of the Supreme Universe, even the sentient beings of the Six Paths also know about this matter. Someone actually opens a forum in this universe to preach and teach Taoism. Someone was surprised. Interestingly, someone actually did the exact same thing as the Lord of the City. Is it us sentient beings in the Six Paths? I don't know, I've never heard of the name Hongjun. Not surprising at all. Maybe someone hid their name and gave it a pseudonym. Not necessarily. Maybe this ancestor Hongjun is the indigenous saint of this universe. In fact, there is nothing strange about this kind of thing. It is just a sermon of a saint. Indeed, but should we go over and take a look to see what this ancestor Hongjun has 3 heads and 6 arms? Of course we have to go and see. Although the level of cultivation in this supreme universe is very low and very primitive, and most of the cultivation methods are not worth mentioning, there are occasionally some ideas that are very empirical. If we go and listen, we may be able to draw parallels. It is true. After all, this is also a saint with a high level of cultivation. If such a figure opens a forum to preach, we may also gain huge benefits from it. Don't talk so much. Let's leave quickly. If we go too late, there won't be any space at all. Yes, you have to hurry up. Many sentient beings in the 6 paths were talking about it. They also ran over to watch the fun, wanting to know what the 3 heads and 6 arms of the ancestor Hongjun were and what abilities he had. Because this supreme universe is very special. There are no universes, only planets, this supreme universe. There are countless planets scattered in the universe, one after another. Therefore, many indigenous people set off from their respective planets and flew quickly to reach the Xianxia star where Taoist Hongjun was located. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 812. At this moment, Xianxia Star Xianxia Palace. Hongjun was sitting cross-legged on a futon, and his body was filled with mysterious fluctuations of the laws of the Great Road. It was unfathomable and integrated with the entire Xianxia Palace, creating an inexplicable resonance. It can be said that his cultivation has reached an extremely high level at this moment, which is unfathomable. This sermon will be a success. Hongjun smiled slightly, feeling very happy. When he entered this supreme universe, he found that the cultivation method in this universe was very primitive. Compared with the 6 Paths universe, it was like being in a barbaric era. No, even in the future. The era of enlightened primitive people. There has never been a saint in this universe who has ever given a sermon, and announced the method of cultivation. So he imitated what the Lord of Chaos City did in the chaotic universe and the era of ignorance. As the first person to give a sermon, many practitioners open up the path of practice and explain the methods of practice. If he can succeed, then he will be the master of the world and the ancestor of countless practitioners. It is conceivable that he, Hongjun, will definitely become the top of this supreme universe. Big figures can even be favored by the supreme original will of the universe. You must know that at this time, the supreme original will of the universe has begun to give birth to a trace of wisdom and a trace of instinct, constantly hunting down extraterrestrial evil spirits and promoting the evolution of the indigenous people. And Hongjun's approach is simply, if he just follows the weather and the general trend, he will definitely be favored by God. When the time comes, endless luck will envelope him, and he will be invincible and omnipotent in whatever he does. Good luck. Hongjun's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. In fact, he had carefully studied the rise of the Chaos City Lord and why the Chaos City Lord was able to far surpass other Chaos demon gods and reach the unimaginable level of cultivation. That is to lead one step ahead and lead step by step. In Chaos Among Them, the opening sermon began, leading other Chaos demon gods and opening up the path of cultivation for the demon gods. This approach shrouded the fate of the Lord of Chaos City between heaven and earth. If the Lord of Chaos City was too precious and did not choose to cultivate the demon gods he had understood, if he had revealed his body through the law and kept it to himself, would there have been such great achievements in the future? He felt that there might not have been such great achievements. It was precisely because of the actions of the Lord City Lord that he led the development of the entire Chaos Demon God race, received the favor of the original will of the Chaos universe, and became the Son of Destiny. In this way, the destiny of the Lord of Chaos City was like a snowball, getting bigger and bigger, and in the end it became unstoppable. Likewise reason. He also wants to reenact the rise of the Chaos City Lord in this supreme universe. Although he cannot become the founder of the sect in the chaotic universe, in this ignorant supreme universe, he can become the master of the world and the ancestor of everything. Once if successful, his ancestor Hongjun will be able to obtain endless luck, be favored by the supreme will of the universe, and do everything smoothly. If his luck reaches the extreme, he will be completely recognized by the supreme universe. Then he can directly seize the supreme origin of the universe, become the master of the universe, and obtain transcendence. This is an opportunity, a great opportunity. Ancestor Hongjun clenched his fists and was ambitious. Since becoming a saint, he has been staying in the chaotic universe, hiding his reputation, hiding his strength, hiding in the tide of the great era, never showing any power, silently development. Therefore, he does not have any enemies, and not many gods even know his reputation, and there are not many gods who will deliberately target his Hongjun ancestor. He eliminated his sense of existence and deliberately reduced the cause and effect on his body. Moreover, he is kind to others and never asks for anything in return. Because of this, he got off to a very smooth start. He was not targeted at the beginning like other gods who resounded throughout the Six Paths universe and ended up hindering his development. So, even if he exposed his true nature, no god knows his name. After all, he is just a little transparent. In the eyes of other gods, he is just a harmless, ordinary god. But who can know that he has already accumulated powerful power, standing at the pinnacle of the Six Paths universe? Therefore, when he was reincarnated into this supreme universe, Ancestor Hongjun improved his cultivation at an extremely fast speed. Before other gods could react, he stepped into the realm of a saint. As soon as he entered the realm of a saint, he directly opened the forum to preach and started the layout of the universe before all the sentient beings in the Six Paths. This is the battle of destiny. One step first, one step first. It can be said that in the battle between the Six Paths for gods, during this incident, he began to show his fangs, pull down those famous god emperors, and obtain a six-path god. There is no doubt that this is an opportunity to overtake in a corner. This time, I want all the Chaos Demon Gods to know my reputation as Hongjun. Ancestor Hongjun's eyes flashed. To be honest, as a Chaos Demon God who was born in the Chaos era, he was surpassed one by those talented juniors, which made him feel very uncomfortable. After all, as a Chaos Demon God who was originally one of the strongest beings in the chaotic universe, was actually overtaken by a latecomer. No demon god with a little self-esteem can't stand it. As a demon god with a strong self-esteem, his ancestor Hongjun is naturally even more impossible to accept. It was fine to be surpassed by an ancient chaos demon god like Furukawa. After all, Furukawa was the senior, and he was convinced. But later, he was surpassed by juniors such as Dao Tianzuan and Yuanshi Tianzuan, which made him very unhappy. He always held back a feeling in his heart.
Tone.
But it's different now. The road to spiritual practice is a long-distance race. It doesn't mean that if you lead at the beginning, you will always be ahead. He can definitely surpass him in the second half. He Hongjun proved to the world that He Hongjun will never lose to man. And this Six Paths contest for gods is a great opportunity. He wants to defeat other gods, seize the supreme universe, and become the master of the universe far beyond other gods. Luck is getting stronger and stronger. Ancestor Hongjun smiled slightly. He had cultivated a pair of chaotic divine eyes and could see the fortune between heaven and earth. At this moment, countless fortunes of heaven and earth had gathered over the entire Xianxia palace, one after another. A golden dragon of luck is flying over the Xianxia palace, exuding incomparable majesty. It seems that the original will of the supreme universe has paid attention to this place. Obviously, the original will of the supreme universe also knows that this opening sermon will give the entire universe the way of cultivation has brought huge benefits to countless lives. And this is just the beginning. After the opening sermon is over, Hongjun's way of cultivation will spread to all parts of the universe, causing far-reaching influence. At the same time, he can also gain huge innate merits and great power of luck. Xianxia Palace will also become a holy land of cultivation in the minds of countless cultivators. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 813. Time flew by, and Hongjun's 3 sermons ended quickly. He also selected the 7 most talented beings among the beings who came over to be his personal disciples. But even so, these beings who came to listen to the sermon were all of great benefited a lot, and were so fascinated that they all found the way to enlightenment. So it turns out that there are at least 3 ways to achieve enlightenment in the world, including killing 3 corpses to achieve enlightenment, using strength to achieve enlightenment, and meritorious deeds to achieve enlightenment. It is really eye-opening. When I was practicing before, I was in a daze and didn't know how to move forward. But after hearing the words of Patriarch Hongjun, I was enlightened and enlightened. Indeed, the most fearful thing about the path of spiritual practice is that there is no guiding light or goal. In this way, you are like a headless fly, unable to find the direction at all, and wasting a lot of time. Is not that right? With Patriarch Hongjun's method of enlightenment, although becoming a saint is still extremely difficult, there is still a glimmer of hope. It is really great. This trip is not in vain. This trip is in vain. Fortunately, I came to Xianxia Palace to listen to the sermon. Those who did not come have no idea how much opportunity they have missed. It is true. If you miss this village, you will not have this store. After these 3 sermons are over, I am afraid that Xianxia Palace will not open the next one. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you will not have if you miss it. Everyone was talking about it, and they were all very excited. This sermon made them take a big step forward in their cultivation, and they got too many benefits. They spent so much effort to come to Xianxia Palace. Everything is still worth it. Naturally, many sentient beings in the 6 realms also participated in this opening sermon. Interesting. Who is this ancestor Hongjun? Is he really an aborigine? Do you actually know the 3 ways to become enlightened? To tell the truth, is he a member of the 6 paths of beings? I don't know, I have never heard of his reputation before, but at this time, most of the 6 realms of living beings have not been promoted to the realm of saints. It is estimated that the ancestor Hongjun is most likely an aborigine. Indeed, although it is rare for the 3 methods of enlightenment to appear in this universe, it is not impossible. After all, as of today, there are already more than tens of thousands of methods of enlightenment in our 6-path universe. These 3 are not worth mentioning. But I have to say that this ancestor Hongjun is still very capable. He is worthy of being a saint. He has reached a certain level of understanding of the Tao, which even I think is of great benefit. Is not that right? After all, this is a saint with a commanding height, and his understanding of the laws of the Great Road cannot be compared to those of us cultivators who have not even reached the level of a saint. But in this way, the ancestor Hongjun preaches like this, and the strength of this native of the universe will probably increase by leaps and bounds. Haha, so what if we are advancing by leaps and bounds? If a primitive man learns to fly airplanes and cannons, can he defeat us modern humans? The gap is too big and cannot be made up by just some cultivation methods. In short, the most important thing for us now is to enhance the cultivation of the reincarnated body and advance to the realm of a saint as soon as possible so that we can participate in the competition for the general trend. Otherwise, how can we obtain meritorious service? Many living beings in the 6 paths are talking about it. Although some are gods in the divine world, most of them are immortals in the immortal world. They have not yet stepped into the realm of gods. When they hear Patriarch Hongjun preach like this, it is like receiving enlightenment from a saint. The benefits obtained from this are naturally beyond description in words. At this moment, in a dark planet, a young man wearing a black robe stood in the void, not far from the Xianxia star. And he is the Lord of Demons, Luo Hu. Like ancestor Hongjun, he has entered this supreme universe. All we can say is that these 2 are not enemies. The 2 faced each other in the prehistoric world. Now, in the supreme universe, the 2 are still competitors. Taoist Hongjun, you are indeed my strongest competitor, Luo Hu. I don't like anyone, but you, Hongjun, are my biggest enemy in this 6 paths contest for gods. Luo Hu's eyes showed a cold light. It is said that the original 18 Yamas were famous demons in other worlds, so after they came to our world, they were very arrogant and domineering. They did not believe all kinds of rumors at all, thinking that the legends of the senior brother were just rumors and not worth it. Mention, or maybe they think that they are powerful and not afraid of bad luck. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Even the leader of the demon sect wanted to assassinate the senior brother, but he was unbridled by bad luck. He was exiled into the void turbulence and was torn apart by the void storm on the spot. What does the original 18 Yamas mean? Is not that right? Countless demons have died because they covet eldest brother's treasures. Because of eldest brother's existence, a full 30% of the demons in the demon sect have died. They died suddenly due to various reasons. It is said that senior brother is planning to leave this world recently and go to other worlds to experience. No way, people in other worlds don't know the reputation of senior brother, and they all come to find fault. Wouldn't it be a bloody misfortune for 8 lifetimes? Haha, there will be a good show then. Anyway, let's quickly sign up and become senior brotherly heirs followers, so we can go and see the excitement together.
What?
The eldest brother is actually recruiting followers. Why didn't you tell me earlier? If you can follow the eldest brother and be rewarded with a few treasures by the eldest brother, you will be able to fly into the sky. Hurry up and sign up. If you are late, it will be too late. Many disciples of the Taichu Holy Land discussed one after another. Beloved by heaven and earth? Li Er, the moral heavenly lord, naturally knows what the people around him think. Ordinary people think that his luck in heaven and earth is innate, but they don't know that he has cultivated it. When he enters this supreme universe, when he starts to practice the Tao Te Ching, man follows heaven, heaven follows Tao, and Tao follows nature. The way he practices is the way of nature, the way of luck, and the way of destiny. As long as he can master nature, master luck, and master destiny, then no matter what his qualifications are, he can do whatever he wants in any world and be invincible. And indeed, as the moral heavenly master expected, as his cultivation continues to deepen, his control over fate and luck becomes more and more terrifying. With just a slight push, he can push forward the murderous intention of fate and plunge the enemy into death. With just a glance, he can see through the fate of all people and know which is the best future and which path will lead to the best. In the end, he understands the fate of all living beings. Even when he reaches a certain level of cultivation, it is already his instinct to control his luck and destiny, and the world are naturally part of his body. The result can be imagined. If someone has feelings for him, evil thoughts and murderous intentions in the heart, that is, having murderous intentions in this world, will definitely cause the world to turn upside down, and dragons and snakes to rise. Basically, he has become a super hedgehog. No one dares to do anything to him. He will definitely encounter endless disasters and catastrophes, and will undoubtedly die. That's why he, Li Er, became the beloved son of destiny, the son of the world, and the son of the universe. This is not something he is born with, but the result of his cultivation. But this naturally, it is impossible for the natives of the universe to know such a profound cultivation method, and they have never known that someone can actually control the fate of heaven and earth from a young age. Therefore, countless people regard him as the illegitimate son of fate. But for the moral god, it may not be a bad thing, because being recognized by all living beings is the recognition of the world, the recognition of the universe, and the recognition of destiny. Although the recognition of all living beings may not seem like much, but the belief accumulated by countless living beings is power will change from quantitative change to qualitative change, and incredible changes will occur. Coupled with the secret encouragement of the moral heavenly Lord, his reputation will surely be imprinted on the laws of the universe and become as incredible a power as his name. When the time comes, he is truly the son of the world and the universe. So, if more people believe in it, even if it is not true, it will become true. Heaven, earth, nature, and destiny, as long as you master the strongest path of destiny and gain the approval of all living beings, it is a matter of course for you to integrate into the universe. Moral Heavenly Lord smiled slightly. He has touched the key to seizing the supreme universe, which is to gain the recognition of all living beings. Although the original will of the supreme universe is extremely powerful, no matter how powerful it is, it cannot withstand the belief of all living beings in the universe. If he can gain the recognition of all living beings, with the approval of countless sentient beings and the power of belief gathered by countless sentient beings, he will be invincible and omnipotent. No matter how much the origin of the supreme universe resists, it will be difficult to withstand the power of infinite sentient beings. When the time comes, he can become the master of this supreme universe. Destiny's child? It seems that I need to go to various places to spread my reputation to all parts of the universe and gain recognition from all living beings. The more people recognize me, the greater my reputation will be, and the power of belief among all living beings will surely be extremely powerful. The moral heavenly Lord clenched his fists. As long as he proceeds step by step, spreads his reputation as the god of destiny to all parts of the universe, and is recognized by all living beings, then even if the supreme origin of the universe wants to deny it, he will definitely become this supreme being. The son of destiny of the universe becomes the master of all destiny, and the destiny of infinite sentient beings will be under his control. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 8:18. XX Supreme Universe. A certain huge planet. This planet is called Sword Star. From a distance, it looks like a divine sword, standing in the void of the universe, tearing apart the chaos and shaking the earth. It seems that any demons and monsters that come close to this planet will be killed by the ubiquitous sword energy. That kind of ubiquitous sword energy can kill all enemies. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, countless swordsmen in the distance are flying towards the planet. They fly with their swords as if approaching the speed of light, turning into streams of light and entering the planet. Immediately, after these swordsmen entered the planet, they landed in front of a square. In front of the square, a huge mountain gate appeared. It seemed that the mountain gate was also made of countless swords. It was filled with terrifying sword energy and made people feel chilly. Is this the legendary sword sect? After all the hard work, it was really great to finally be able to become a disciple of the sword sect. A young man looked at this mountain gate with great admiration. He could feel the supreme sword intent left by generations of peerless swordsmen of the sword sect. It was earth-shattering. It seemed that no matter how much time passed, the sword intent would never dissipate. It is said that Jianzhong was just a small swordsmanship sect before and was not very famous in the universe. However, since the appearance of a peerless swordsman, Li Bai, Jianzhong has become one of the top sects in the entire universe. From Jianzhong, the peerless swordsman can sweep the world and be invincible. Another young disciple sighed with emotion. Indeed, Li Bai, the current leader of the sword sect, laid the foundation for all the achievements of the sword sect. He taught countless swordsman masters and created peerless swordsmanship, such as 10,000 swords returning to the sect, the 4 swords of killing immortals, etc., making weapons like the sword, ranked first in the ranking of space weapons. So far, no one can shake it. My swordsmanship is the king of weapons. To be honest, our sword sect was just a small sect before and was looked down upon by many sections. When our sword sect rose, we didn't know how many sects suppressed us. Everyone didn't want to see our sword sect rise. Is not that right? The master's swordsmanship is astonishing, and he can almost reach the gods. He once fought against the top 10 demons of the demon sect and the 10 famous sects of the righteous sect. With 1 man and 1 sword, he simply killed through the entire universe. Everywhere he went, there was a river of blood. The heads are rolling in. The reputation of the sect leader has been destroyed. Once the Zhuxian sword formation comes out, it is simply invincible. It contains billions of sword energy. The void of the universe, vegetation, jade, and planetary meteorites can all be used as swords. All enemies who stood in front of the Zhuxian sword formation were killed with 1 sword, and no bones were left. This is the invincible strength of the sect leader. It would be fine if only the sect master was invincible, but the 108 direct disciples of the sect master's teaching department are all masters of swordsmanship. They dominate the world and are unbeatable. So far, the sect leader has crushed countless sects of the righteous and demonic sects with his absolute strength, establishing the sword sect's great reputation and making countless practitioners throughout the universe proud of practicing swordsmanship. Many Jianzhong disciples are talking about it, and they all admire it extremely. At this moment, Jianzhong's strength is simply invincible, sweeping the world, and no one can beat it. There were some sects who tried to compete with Jianzhong before, but now they are not on the verge of extinction. Even if the mountain is sealed and no one can come out, this also makes the Jianzhong's power grow stronger day by day. However, the success of my swordsmanship is naturally not only due to the sect leader, but because our swordsmanship itself has the potential to overpower other weapons. A Jian sect disciple said proudly. Indeed, the first and most important reason why our swordsmanship is recognized by so many practitioners is that the entry barrier is very low. Anyone can practice swordsmanship. Even ordinary people can use swords. A sword sect disciple said solemnly. The second reason is that it is extremely fast. If the sword flying in our swordsmanship is practiced to an advanced level, it can even be compared to the speed of light. How can ordinary practitioners be so fast? In other words, if we learn to fly with a sword, we don't need to take a spaceship at all. We can travel across the universe with just 1 person and 1 sword. He named 2 reasons for the prosperity of swordsmanship. One is the low threshold, and the other is the speed. But I think the most important reason is that the sword is unparalleled in killing and killing. It can be called the first of many weapons. No enemy can resist my sword master's sword and will be penetrated in an instant. Even a most terrifying demon is afraid of me. A master of the sword sect is afraid that he'll be torn apart by the supreme sword energy and die without a whole body. If you are a top swordsman, you can even take the enemy's head from thousands of miles away. Another sword sect disciple said proudly. He believes that the most attractive thing about swordsmanship is the art of killing. If you master the supreme swordsmanship, you will be invincible at the same level. One person can easily kill the same person with one sword. Level masters and even cross-level challenges. The technique of sword formation is also the most powerful part of my swordsmanship. A disciple of the sword sect continued, "Not all of us sword masters can only fight alone. If we are willing, we can easily form sword formations. For example, the Big Dipper sword formation, the 3-talent sword formation, the 4 symbols and 2-instrument sword formation, etc. can gather the power of many sword masters and countless sword energies to instantly burst out with terrifying lethality. Especially our sword sect's famous 4 swords of killing immortals. When the sect leader used it, sword energy tore through the universe, easily defeated the coalition of good and evil forces, killed many masters, and became invincible, establishing the invincible path of the sword sect. Base. Many sword sect disciples couldn't help but nod. When fighting alone, swordsmanship masters are not inferior to others. But if the opponent wants to bully the minority with more, swordsmanship masters can still form a sword formation and sweep across the world. In other words, no matter what fighting alone or forming a sword formation, practitioners of the art of swordsmanship can suppress all monsters, and monsters. However, this does not mean that we sword sect disciples do not have shortcomings. Our weak defense is actually our biggest shortcoming. Although we are unparalleled in killing, if the enemy gets close, we can easily be killed. A Jianzong disciple said in a deep voice. Indeed, our weak defense is our weakness, but in fact the sect leader has long thought of a way to solve this problem, which is to use sword energy to temper the body. A disciple of the sword sect smiled slightly. He used the powerful destructive power of the sword energy, and then used a unique guidance technique to make the sword energy enter his body, and continuously tempered it, causing his body to evolve into sword bones, sword muscles, and sword blood. The sword flesh will eventually turn into a supreme sword body that has been tempered for thousands of times. In this way, our defense power can be comparable to those masters from other sects who have perfected the body tempering. He told the sword sect's cultivation method to solve the body's defense. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 8:19. Although that is said, there are too few disciples who can master the supreme sword body. After all, it is too painful to use sword energy to temper the body. If you are not a person with great perseverance, you will not be able to succeed at all. Many sword sect disciples shook their heads. Using sword energy to temper the body, the pain involved can't be described in words. You must know that sword energy is one of the most terrifying killing powers in the world, specifically killing enemies. Destroy the soul, but actually use these sword energy to penetrate your body. This is equivalent to using a sword to constantly cut your own flesh, blood, bones, etc., as if you were suffering from the top 10 tortures of the Qing dynasty all the time. Among them, the pain is enough to make countless sword masters collapse. Even among the talented disciples of the sword sect, most people have given up because they really can't stand the pain of sword energy tempering. This is simply unbearable. But even so, even without the supreme sword body as a defense, most kendo masters can be invincible just by relying on the long sword in their hands. After all, they will not give the enemy any chance to counterattack. The long sword is unsheathed. In an instant, that's when the enemy dies. Recently, the Lord of the Clan issued an order for us to attack everywhere and conquer one planet after another, so that the power of my sword sect can spread throughout the universe, and let everyone in the world learn my sword sect's cultivation method. Although the universe is big, I am the only one who is the master of swordsmanship. A Jianzong disciple said in a deep voice. Very good. Hearing this, All the disciples of the Sword sect were extremely excited. As expected of the sect leader, "You are so wise and powerful. I have long disliked other sections. There is no need for so many cultivation methods in the world. The method of my Sword sect can already cover everything, and all other methods of cultivation are rubbish. Depose hundreds of schools and only focus on swordsmanship." A Jianzong disciple roared. This is the ideal of the sect leader, and it is also the ideal of us Jianzong disciples. Let Jianzong's ideas and power spread throughout the universe. The problem is, if we do this, we will definitely offend other sects and cause public outrage. Ignorance. Didn't our Sword sect cause public outrage before? Previously, the 10 major demon sects and the 10 major righteous sects jointly attacked the Sword sect, trying to wipe out countless swordsmen of our Sword sect. If the sect leader hadn't turned the tide with one man and one sword, tearing the universe apart, I'm afraid our Sword sect would have ceased to exist long ago. You are right. Our Sword sect has been at odds with other sects for a long time. Now, taking advantage of the weakening of the forces of good and evil and serious casualties among the top management, our Sword sect is taking advantage of the victory to pursue the victory and beat up the drowned dogs, leaving them with no chance to stand up. And there is no need to worry about this war at all. The power of our Sword sect has long been spread across 1/3 of the universe, and the remaining 2/3 are only within reach, easily. This is indeed the case. In the past, our Sword sect was not afraid even if it was weak. Now that our Sword sect is so powerful, other sects are even less worthy of mention. Many Jianzong disciples are talking about it and are extremely excited. Once Jianzong rules the entire universe, deposes hundreds of schools, and only focuses on swordsmanship, then their status as Jianzong disciples will naturally rise. At this moment, deep in the back mountain of Jian sect, that is where the sect leader retreats. The leader of the Sword sect, Li Bai, is the reincarnation of Lingbao Tianzuan, the leader of Tongtian cult. After he was reincarnated into this universe, he quickly rose up with one man and one sword, created the Sword sect, and taught his disciples. In a very short period of time, Sword sect's power spread all over the universe, and his cultivation level was even more advanced, far surpassing that of other gods. In fact, this is the benefit of Sword cultivation method, brave and diligent progress. As long as the realm is reached, all other cultivations will come naturally. Dethroning hundreds of schools of thought and focusing solely on swordsmanship, I want to turn this universe into a swordsmanship universe. The eyes of Master Tongtian showed a glint. Since he was reincarnated into this supreme universe, he has been thinking about how to seize this supreme universe, how to defeat other six-path living beings and gain a huge advantage. Then he thought of creating a sect just like creating a sect. Like Jiejiao, he founded the Sword sect in this universe and taught countless swordsman masters. Because of this, the Sword sect became more powerful, and as the master of the Sword sect, he controlled more and more destiny. Powerful. Once the Sword sect becomes the absolute overlord of the universe, unifies all sects, and even all lives practice swordsmanship, then he, the master of the Sword sect, will naturally become the master of the world and the ancestor of all sword masters. The result can be imagined. At that time, he will naturally be able to seize the entire supreme universe. But the ambition of Tongtian cult master is not just that. It is just to seize the supreme universe. In fact, many god emperors can do it, but after seizing the body, it will only become an elementary level. The Lord of the Universe is just the first step in a long march of thousands of miles. Therefore, he must make sufficient plans for his future practice. Because of this, he must completely transform this supreme universe, condense it into a sword universe, and temper the entire universe. It will become a supreme divine sword, and countless sentient beings will live in the divine sword. By then, the power of this divine sword will probably surpass the 4 swords of Zhu Xian. After all, to this day, the level of the 4 swords of Zhu Xian is only a chaos magic weapon. It is not even considered as the chaos treasure, and it is extremely difficult to upgrade the level of the magic weapon. Therefore, in order to forge a supreme divine sword that surpasses the chaos magic weapon and a cosmic secret treasure that surpasses the four swords of Xianxia, he plans to use the supreme universe as the foundation. Use the power of faith of all living beings as the flame to forge a successful universe. In order to achieve this goal, first let all living beings practice swords and generate huge sword energy in their bodies. Then let countless planets and countless worlds have sword energy, and these planets, these worlds were tempered into a supreme sword, containing endless sword energy. Finally, countless planets gathered together, which was a supreme sword formation across the universe. Billions of trillions of sword energy condensed, quantitative changes lead to qualitative changes. In this way, the sword energy of the entire universe will be everywhere. Even a grain of sand, a weed, a stone, and even a particle will turn into sword energy, containing the terrifying sword intention. No, even the laws of the universe and the law of heaven will turn into a giant sword. It is probably the legendary sword of Smordax. Once it falls, the gods will fall. And this is the sword universe. All plants and trees can be used as swords. In the universe of swordsmanship, everything must be done, and whoever dares to stop me will die. Tong Tian, cult leader, is full of murderous intent, and his chest contains endless murderous intent. Anyone who prevents him from becoming a Taoist is an enemy. As the person with the strongest murderous intent, the strongest combat power, and the most warlike person among the three pure ones, he is naturally not afraid of anything. Due to the difficulties, all enemies will be killed by them all and die under the four swords of Xianxia. Moreover, this is also the general trend of the sword sect, which is invincible. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 820. XX Supreme Universe. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, dozens or hundreds of powerful figures gathered together and crossed the void. Each of them at least had the power of a saint, and their bodies exuded boundless aura, which was earth-shattering. They are all saints of this supreme universe. They have terrifying cultivation levels and can travel several light years with each breath. Generally speaking, they are sworn enemies and competitors to each other. In many cases, they have never been in contact with each other, and they even have a blood feud with each other. But at this time, they were all gathered together, with cold faces and serious expressions. The reason why these saints unite is to deal with the super demon who suddenly appears in this supreme universe, the Nightmare Zhuangzhou. The Nightmare Zhuangzhou is really terrible. We must find his true body and eliminate him completely, otherwise the entire universe will be destroyed and fall into doomsday. A saint clenched his fists with murderous intent. It's a pity that he didn't realize his identity as an extraterrestrial evil spirit at the beginning, but he quickly grew up and secretly learned the skills from everywhere. As a result, he is now so big that he is difficult to eliminate. The other saint gritted his teeth. It sounds nice, but if you don't think about it carefully, Zhuangzhou's qualifications are really terrible. He is the best in the universe. Anyway, I have never seen such a terrifying cultivation talent. Everything is the same. You can learn it, you can master it as soon as you learn it, and you can even innovate and draw inferences from one example. Indeed, that guy previously pretended to be a harmless person and joined various sects in the universe to secretly learn the techniques. At first, we thought he had accepted a demon disciple, but who would have thought that he turned out to be an extraterrestrial demon? But even if he didn't join our sect, he could easily learn our skills secretly. Zhuangzhou only had 3 moves with me, and he completely learned all the skills and techniques I had learned over the years, and even the power he used surpassed mine, and the most annoying thing was that he also improved the technique I created. If he were not an extraterrestrial evil spirit, he would definitely be the most evil genius in our universe. It seems that this Zhuangzhou is also a famous existence among the evil spirits outside the territory. According to what those evil spirits outside the territory said, his name seems to be Yuanshi Tianzuan, and some people call him Yuanshi Demon Lord. Regardless of whether this guy is called Zhuangzhou or Yuanshi Tianzuan, he is our lifelong enemy. Many saints were talking about it. They were all extremely afraid of this Zhuangzhou. If they were not forced to do so, they would not be willing to deal with such a terrifying enemy. At the beginning, this young man named Zhuangzhou joined in quietly. In a sect, with a humble attitude and a low sense of presence, few people noticed him. But as time went by, some people actually discovered that Zhuangzhou actually changed his appearance and appeared in major forces, secretly learning the skills of one sect after another. As you can imagine, it is a taboo to secretly learn the skills of other sects. So many elders of the sects were furious and sent masters to chase Zhuangzhou, but they never thinking of it. The strength of this young man named Zhuangzhou has long been terrifying. Therefore, all the disciples and elders of the sect who went to chase him were captured, and no one was left out. If that was all, then Zhuangzhou, wherever it appeared, world after world, planet after planet fell, and all life fell into a coma and could never wake up. It seemed that the souls of all life had entered a dream world, which they called it as the realm of nightmares. If Zhuangzhou had not been killed, then all life in the universe would have fallen into the nightmare world, completely immersed in the dream, and would never be able to wake up. This would simply be a disaster of annihilation. Because of this, a statue of the saints who practiced in seclusion realized the seriousness of the matter and could not let Zhuangzhou, a nightmare, continue to run rampant, so they united and launched a hunt for Zhuangzhou. Is this the place? The latest planet that appeared in Zhuangzhou. At this moment, many saints finally arrived at a nearby living planet. They were standing in the void of the universe outside the planet, looking at the planet from a distance with stern faces. In order to find Zhuangzhou's whereabouts, they set up a dragnet. Whenever there are any clues about Zhuangzhou, they will immediately chase him and must find the place where Zhuangzhou's true body is. Yes, it is this planet. When the life on this planet falls into sleep for no reason, disciples of the sect immediately report it, but now it seems that we are too late. A saint said solemnly. Under their perception, the entire living planet was shrouded in an incredible power of dreams. The power of dreams seemed to be between illusion and reality. The life of the entire planet, no matter it was flying insects, animals, humans, or other races, microorganisms, etc., they all fell into a deep sleep. All of them were lying on the ground, closing their eyes, with peaceful expressions, as if they were having a sweet dream. Normal. But such a scene made these saints shudder. Because such a scene is too terrifying, and it is also the terrifying part of Zhuangzhou's power. This peerless demon can make countless lives fall into sleep silently. The soul fell into the realm of nightmares. This kind of power ignores the size of the strength, regardless of the type of life, and treats everyone equally. And no matter how hard they try, they can't wake up these sleeping lives, unless they kill the culprit nightmare, the origin demon. Zun Zhuangzhou. The power of this demon is even more terrifying. A saint's face was very ugly. He sensed that the bodies of these sleeping beings seemed to be eroded by the power of dreams, and at this moment they actually had a state of virtualization. In this state, these beings became like bubbles, like phantoms. Even saints cannot touch the true bodies of these beings. Before, they could touch the bodies of these beings, but even their bodies turned into bubbles and transformed. It is conceivable that after practicing for a long time, the power of this nightmare Zhuangzhou became even more terrifying, reaching the point where dreams eroded reality. To find him, we must find Zhuangzhou, and we cannot let him continue to do whatever he wants, otherwise the life of the entire universe will be swallowed up by his dreams. Many saints gritted their teeth. They felt the seriousness of the matter. If they could find this nightmare Zhuangzhou now, they might be able to deal with him. But as time goes by, the opponent's power becomes more and more terrifying and weird. So even with the same power as their saints, it would be difficult to deal with the Yuanshi Demon Lord. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 8:21. But how should we find him? That kid was so slippery that he was invisible, and extremely fast. If he shot him in another place, he would never be able to find his true identity. A saint gritted his teeth. To be honest, how could he not want to find Zhuangzhou? The problem is that Zhuangzhou's power is too weird. He seems to have mastered the power of dreams and walks between illusions at an incredible speed. Even these saints together, we have not been able to touch even a single corner of Zhuangzhou's clothes so far. Many saints were silent, and they were helpless because it was too slow for them to get the news. Often they just got the news and chased after them, only to find that the other party had left long ago. This happened several times in a row, have caused them to lose any confidence. The same is true this time. Oh, I heard that fellow Taoists are looking for me. I don't know why. At this moment, a young man wearing Taoist robes suddenly appeared in front of many saints. He was riding a kunpeng, his whole body was lazily, and he seemed to be cynical. He exuded a dreamy atmosphere. It seemed that the moment he appeared, all the laws around him were blurred, as if a huge illusory realm was formed around him, and everything seemed blurry. Zhuangzhou. The moment this young man appeared, many saints stood on end and turned pale with fright. They had no idea that the nightmare Zhuangzhou was beside them. And until the other party spoke and appeared, they didn't notice anything. If the other party wanted to take advantage of this opportunity, if they were attacked, they would have no strength to fight back. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, they were so frightened that they immediately stepped back for an unknown number of light years, facing Zhuangzhou from a distance, and all kinds of magic weapons were taken away in an instant. When he came out, he was simply ready for battle, and at the same time, he was covered with multiple restraining techniques to avoid being attacked by the opponent. Interesting, aren't you looking for me? Now that they have found me, everyone wants to run away?
Zhuang.
Zhou laughed and looked lazily at these saints. Zhuangzhou, what do you want to do? A saint stared at Zhuangzhou. Why would a saint of your level kill those mortals? He always wanted to find Zhuangzhou's true body, but no matter how he sensed or blocked it, he found that the Zhuangzhou in front of him seemed to be an illusory projection. No, it shouldn't be an illusory projection, but the other person's true body in another dimension. Deep in the void, we are on the boundary between reality and illusion. If we cannot see through the illusion, we will not be able to find Zhuangzhou's true body. Kill those mortals? Hearing this, Zhuangzhou suddenly laughed. What on earth are you talking about? I didn't kill them. I didn't even kill any living beings. I just let them have a sweet dream. Fart. Another saint shouted. What a beautiful dream. There is no dream that you can't wake up from. What's the difference between using the power of dreams to trap all living beings and killing them? Do you know what a dream is? Zhuangzhou smiled slightly. Dreams are illusory, but they are also real. You say this is just a dream, but how do you know that you're not in a dream? How do you know why this universe cannot be some big universe? A dream that lasts forever, and every life is just a member of this dream? How can it be? The faces of many saints changed. They were sweating profusely, and they felt a hint of panic. Although it is impossible, they have been promoted to the realm of saints. How could they not know that this is very possible? When the illusion reaches its extreme, maybe it can become real. Turn false into true. Turn true into false. True and false. False and false. False and false. Reversal of cause and effect. Transformation of false and false. How can the life in the world clearly distinguish the true from the false? If this universe, it's not impossible that it's just a dream that a great being could have. It's just that this dream is too real and extremely lifelike. Nothing is impossible. I thought it was impossible at first, but until I saw the great magic performed by my master, I saw the infinite possibilities of dreams. Life is limited, but dreams are infinite. Zhuangzhou's eyes revealed a terrifying light, revealing a long-lost excitement and extreme enthusiasm. The technique he saw was the parallel world technique performed by Furukawa. But as for the life of the whole family, they can reproduce thousands of lives with just one breath. It can be said that every breath can give birth to a large number of lives. Descendants. Such a speed of reproduction is simply beyond the imagination of all life forms. As long as the whole family is willing, I am afraid that countless planets in the entire universe can be filled with life forms of the entire family. But the life born in this way is too weak. Some experimenters couldn't help but ask. Although the number of beings created by the whole race is extremely large, from the perspective of individual strength, they are much weaker than ordinary life forms, even weaker than humans. No problem. Nuwa waved her hand. Although these created beings were very weak at first, they are just like human beings with meridians, flesh and blood, and bodies of the Great Road. They can continue to evolve and practice, and are even very smart and can follow the path of science and technology. So as long as they are given enough time, they can still grow into a powerful race, no less than other races, just like the original human race. Hearing this, many experimenters couldn't help but nod. It is true that the birth of the human race was also underestimated by countless people, thinking that it was just a weak race and would soon disappear in history. But the reality is cruel. He slapped them hard and taught them how to behave. Not only did the human race not disappear, but it grew stronger and stronger. Although it has not become the pinnacle race so far, it has become one of the powerful races. As you can imagine, it is only a thin line away from the pinnacle race. The potential of the human race exceeds the imagination of countless cultivators before. Even Nuwa did not expect that the weak race at the beginning would actually grow to the point where it is today. And this incident also completely changed Nuwa's view of life. Even if it is the weakest race, as long as it can continue to evolve, can rival, or even replace the powerful race. Lady Nuwa, are there only 108 of these clans? An experimenter asked. Because the area of the Supreme Universe is so large, no matter how fast the whole race reproduces life, it is probably difficult for all 108 races to spread life throughout the entire universe in a short period of time. If the time is too long, the Six Paths conflict will be over before the effect is achieved. Don't worry, this is just the first batch. In fact, there will be 129,600 lives of the entire clan this time, which exactly fits the number of 1 yuan, no more, no less. Nuwa smiled slightly. That's good. Many experimenters are overjoyed. If there are 129,600 entire clans, then the rate of life increase is simply increasing at a geometric rate, which is simply unimaginable. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 8:26. However, the combat effectiveness of these clans is not very high. In order to protect them, some guards need to be dispatched around them to protect their safety from being attacked and killed by the enemy. Nuwa said in a deep voice. Don't worry, Lady Nuwa, we have created many powerful combat units, angels. They are natural combat masters, unmatched in strength, and can definitely protect the safety of the entire clan. Even if they encounter irresistible danger, they can escape the scene with the whole family in an instant. An experimenter said confidently. That's good. Nuwa nodded with great satisfaction, but this preparation is naturally more than that. In order to fight for the gods of the 6 realms, I think we should release all kinds of powerful life races created. Are there other races of life? A group of experimenters were speechless. They looked at Nuwa's excited look. It was obvious that Lady Nuwa had regarded this 6 Paths God contest as a huge experimental opportunity. The entire Supreme Universe has become a place for experiments. In fact, over the years, Nuwa's scientific and technological achievements have been astonishing, creating countless powerful races, some of which are comparable to the Chaos Demon God, which is frightening. However, these forbidden races are usually found in laboratories and rarely appear in outside the world. Not many people know that Nuwa created these powerful races. For example, the Frozen Demon Clan. Nuwa excitedly introduced the powerful race she created. This is the most powerful demon race I created based on the characteristics of the demon race. They have frozen themselves at absolute zero temperatures since they were born. The longer they are frozen, the more terrifying their qualifications and strength will be after they are born. The Frozen Demon Clan is definitely one of the most talented clans in the universe. Each frozen demon has strong qualifications to grow to the top. However, they also have shortcomings, that is, their reproductive power is too weak and it takes a long time to give birth to offspring. It is estimated that this is the price of powerful creatures. The Frozen Demon Clan. Many experimenters are looking at the huge experimental cabins in the distance. Thousands of frozen demons are frozen in them. They are all sleeping peacefully at the moment. But everyone can see it. It turns out that these frozen demons contain powerful power. Once they wake up, each of them will have the power of a demon. There is no doubt that this must be the most top fighting race, and it is also one of the highest crystallizations of Nua's biotechnology. Of course, in addition to the Frozen Demon Clan, there is also the Demon Slime Clan, which is also a powerful race that I am proud of. Nua smiled slightly and pointed at another race. Demon Slime? A group of experimenters were stunned. They knew that the Slime Clan was the lowest level monster and would only appear in places like Novice Village to provide experience and equipment to novices. Their image was like jelly. Translucent, liquid-shaped special monsters that can split, fuse, change shape, swallow objects, etc. are extremely special. If they were not extremely reproductive, they would have been extinct long ago. But now Lady Nua has combined with Didlime's genes create the Demon Clan. Lady Nua, why is the Demon Clan so powerful that it can be compared with the Frozen Demon Clan? An experimenter couldn't help but ask, curious. No, it's not just as simple as being on par with him. He might even surpass the Frozen Demon Clan. Nua excitedly introduced. The initial value of its ability is very low, many times lower than the Frozen Demon Clan, but one of their characteristics is enough to make them one of the strongest races. That is, they can devour and absorb the power of strong men and enhance their own combat effectiveness. The more strong men they swallow, and the stronger their strength, the stronger they will be. There is almost no upper limit to their strength. In addition, they also have the characteristics of immortality and division. Even if they are cut into countless pieces, they can be quickly gathered together. As long as a single cell remains, they can be quickly regenerated. Unless they are sealed or destroyed to the point where not a single cell is left, it is possible to completely eliminate the Demon Clan. Otherwise, they will become stronger as they fight.
What?
As soon as these words came out, many experimenters were shocked and looked at Nua in disbelief. If she really has such characteristics, then the power of the Demon Clan is simply terrifying. As long as the demon cannot be killed as the battle progresses, more and more enemies are devoured, and the power of the demons will only become more and more terrifying until they reach the level of invincibility. Lady Nua, this is simply a taboo clan. Once released, the consequences will be unimaginable. An experimenter couldn't help but worry. After all, the stronger the Demon Clan devours, the more powerful it will be. If they devour a saint, wouldn't they immediately have the power of a saint? How terrifying is this? Ability. Don't worry. Although the talents and abilities of the Demon Clan are very terrifying, there are many people in the Six Paths universe who can compare to the Demon Clan. Even if they cannot be killed, there are various means to seal them away, and they will not cause any trouble at all. Nua was very calm and said that this was not a big problem at all. Of course, to the gods of the Six Paths universe, the abilities of the Demon Clan are harmless, but to this supreme universe, they are probably demon-like existences that will definitely cause turmoil. However, the emergence of the Demon Clan can also relieve us of huge pressure and attract countless attention, so that the entire clan's plan to create life will not be blocked by others. There was a glint in her eyes, indicating that this was part of her plan. I see. Many experimenters suddenly realized that they also understood why Lady Nua released the Frozen Demon Clan and the Demon Clan into the Supreme Universe. The reason is that these powerful races will definitely set off turbulent waves in the entire Supreme Universe, making the entire universe. Countless races in the Supreme Universe are horrified by this. At that time, These races will flawlessly take into account the many lives that are suddenly born in all parts of the universe. When they solve the Frozen Demon Clan and the Demon Clan, I am afraid that the entire universe and countless planets it has long been filled with life forms created by the entire clan. It can be said that this is a plan to attack the East and attack the West, catching the life forms in the Supreme Universe by surprise. As expected of Lady Nuwa, she indeed has a plan that is exhaustive. With the Frozen Demon Clan and the Demon Clan attracting all the attention for us, the appearance of the entire clan will not be noticeable at all, but we can act quickly. By the time they realized something was wrong, it was probably too late. Everyone was talking and laughing. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 8:27. Lady Nuwa. I heard that in addition to the Frozen Demon Clan and the Demon Clan, Lady Nuwa has been studying a more powerful race that seems to be born out of humans. An experimenter looked at Nuwa with burning eyes. He is a senior researcher, so he has heard about various experimental plans. That's right. Nuwa smiled slightly. To be honest, this race is the race I am most proud of so far, and it is also the strongest fighting race I have created. What? As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. The strongest fighting race? Such words said in the words of the Nuwa people are enough to prove the authenticity and shock of this matter. After all, according to Nuwa with your knowledge, I have seen countless races, even the Chaos Demon God, but even so, this created race is still the strongest fighting race. It is conceivable that this race must be the highest among Nuwa. The crystallization of wisdom contains power beyond imagination. Lady Nuwa, what race is she? Someone asked impatiently. However, Nuwa did not answer directly. She said to herself, to be honest, the Frozen Demon Clan and the Demon Clan are also powerful in combat, but they have a fatal flaw, that is, their fecundity is too high. If they are weak, once they encounter a fatal crisis, the entire race will probably become extinct. If a race wants to prosper and be passed down for hundreds of millions of epochs, the most important thing is super fecundity. This is the foundation for ensuring a race. Indeed. Many experimenters couldn't help but nod. They have also studied countless ancient and powerful races throughout the ages, many of which have survived since the era of chaos. But most of the ancient races, although they are born with powerful, their fighting power is unparalleled, but not many ancient races can continue to this day. Most of the ancient races have disappeared and have withdrawn from the stage of history. This is because their reproductive power is too weak. After experiencing a catastrophe, the life of the entire race was wiped out. How could it be passed down in this way? Those who can be passed down to this day still maintain strong combat effectiveness and strong racial power, such as the mechanical race, the angel race, etc., all have super reproductive power. Such races have super toughness. Even if they experience annihilation disasters again and again, with their strong reproductive power after thousands or tens of thousands of years, they can survive again and again, will prosper quickly. But those races that have difficulty in reproducing are not so lucky. Even in peacetime, it is extremely difficult for them to increase their offspring, let alone in wartime. In order to solve this problem, I studied countless races in the world, merged the crystallization of countless biological wisdom, and finally created this super powerful fighting race. I call them Scions. Nuwa smiled slightly. Scion. An experimenter was stunned and looked at Nuwa. Master Nuwa, why does this name sound so similar to humans? Isn't it possible that they have something to do with humans? Of course it is related. In fact, the Scions are a fighting race created by me based on human genes and then fused with the genes of other races. Nuwa clenched her fists. Not only do they have the wisdom and reproductive ability of ordinary humans, but they also have strong combat power with the frozen demons and demons, and even have a long lifespan. They can be called a perfect clan. No way. Lady Nuwa, how on earth did this happen? After hearing this, many experimenters were shocked. This so-called Scion family is actually so perfect. It not only has strong combat power, but also has super reproductive power. This is simply unbelievable. It's very simple. Generally speaking, races with strong combat power and bloodline talents are naturally strong in body, but the stronger the body, the lower the probability of giving birth to offspring. Demon emperors like Dong Huang Tai had such bad luck that they could give birth to 10 golden crow daughters at once, but this kind of thing was a miracle and could only happen once in a while. Nuwa said in a deep voice. Indeed. Many experimenters nodded. The more powerful the life, the stronger the body. But in this way, the probability of giving birth to descendants is even lower, and it takes a long time to cultivate. At the same time, the opposite is weak lives. For example, humans are born with weak bodies and short lifespans. However, as a result, their probability of giving birth to offspring is extremely high, and their fertility rate is far higher than that of other races. This is one of the advantages of weak races. After all, the strength itself is weak. If it did not maintain super reproductive power, the entire race would have been exterminated long ago. So, in order to solve this problem, I set the initial physical quality of the scions to be as weak as humans, thus ensuring their strong fertility. Nuwa smiled slightly. But in this case, how can one still have powerful fighting talent? An experimenter was puzzled. Very simple. Nuwa's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. I blocked the powerful blood talent in their bodies and added a gene lock to the genes in their bodies. With such a lock locking their powerful bloodline talents, it will not make it difficult for their bodies to give birth to descendants. At the same time, once they break through the restrictions of the gene lock, their powerful bloodline talents will be fully revealed, and they can even be cultivated, strengthen your body, and advance to the highest level. Gene lock. After hearing this, many experimenters were amazed. They felt as if a thunderbolt suddenly fell in the dark night, tearing the night apart and giving them a flash of inspiration. This is indeed a genius-level idea. Although it is powerful, the racial blood talent limits their fertility, but a gene lock is like a sealing technique, temporarily sealing the blood talent in their bodies. This allows them not only to have strong fertility, but also if they can break through the gene lock if it is restricted, unprecedented combat power can be unleashed in an instant, and the original super talent can be restored. As expected of Lady Nuwa, this is truly a genius idea. The concept of gene lock is really incredible. Why didn't I think of it? Indeed, in this way, the Scion family not only has super fighting talent, but also has strong fertility and will definitely become the first fighting nation in the universe in the future. With continuous practice, the Scion clan continues to break through the genetic lock, allowing their weak body to adapt to the power of the huge bloodline bit by bit. This is not a method of genetic cultivation. It is indeed a perfect bloodline. Lady Nuwa is really powerful. Many experimenters admired Nuwa so much that the concept of gene lock was put forward, and its importance is no less than that of the gods in creating the prehistoric world. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 8:28. In the Supreme Universe, there is a place in the far north among a certain planet. This place is covered with snow all year round, and the temperature is -50 degrees almost every day. This is a place where life is extinct, and it is basically deserted. The ice and snow roared, the storm blew, and the water dripped into ice. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, spaceships suddenly landed from outside the starry sky. They arrived directly above the glacier, and then the hatch opened. Immediately afterwards, insect eggs fell one after another from inside the spacecraft. They fell directly into the cave of the glacier and were instantly covered with ice and snow. Then these spacecraft ignored them and flew away from the planet. I don't know how much time has passed, but each insect egg seems to have sensed the time of birth. The insect eggs crack open one after another, making a clicking sound, and creatures crawl out from inside, which are obviously frozen demons. They exude an extremely powerful aura, like demons crawling out of hell. The depths of their pupils contain the smell of evil, filled with emotions such as conquest, killing, etc. It can be said that they are a naturally superior race. What is this place? Not sure, but there is no food here. We need to find somewhere with food. The life on this planet is too weak. They are all scum with only about 50% fighting power. This planet should be ruled by our clan of frozen demons. Our frozen demon race is the greatest race in the universe. Many frozen demons were talking about it. Although they were born not long ago, they have been frozen in the ice. They have received the inheritance of bloodline information and know many combat skills and intelligence. Therefore, they were born with strong combat power and a starting point far superior to other races.
Whoosh.
Not long after, the frozen demon clan appeared on this planet, occupying the entire planet with absolute advantage, and became the absolute master of this planet. No one knew that a dominant race of the universe was actually born on this planet. In the future, the reputation of the frozen demon race will soon be heard throughout the universe. On a certain planet, in a certain primitive forest, suddenly, a liquid creature fell from the sky in this forest, like a sphere, like a slime. The aura on it was not very strong, close to nothing. It seemed harmless to humans and animals, but no one knew that this liquid sphere belonged to the demon clan, that it was a demon.
Wow.
In an instant, after it fell to the ground, it suddenly woke up from its deep sleep and then turned into a humanoid liquid life, standing on the ground. Haha, I finally ran out of that laboratory, finally left those hateful lives, and I, the devil, was finally free. At this moment, the demon seemed to have remembered all the previous memories and suddenly became ecstatic. In fact, it still retains various memories from Nuwa's laboratory, but they are all memories that cannot be looked back on. His body was like an experimental object being cut and experimented at will. But no matter how hard it struggled, it could not escape. It was like a nightmare. This experience left a huge psychological shadow on it. Originally, it thought it could never escape from that prism-like laboratory for its entire life. But it never expected that freedom would come so easily, which made it ecstatic. Roar! At this moment, a group of terrifying demon tigers suddenly ran from the distance. The demon tigers rushed towards each other, trying to tear apart the demon in liquid form. Court death. The demon sneered, and its body instantly turned into a ball of liquid, shrouded it, and activated its ability gluttony to instantly wrap up all the demon tigers. In just an instant, these demon tigers were completely devoured, all the bones were gone, and the energy in their bodies and even their soul memories were integrated into the demon's body. I'm so hungry, I want to eat. I saw that the demon instantly changed into the state of a demon tiger. It can change in an ever-changing way, and it can transform into any creature it swallows. It is walking in this forest. As it continues to swallow lives, its power can be seen with the naked eye. The visible speed is increasing crazily. In fact, similar demons have been put on different planets. The legend of demons has begun to spread throughout the planet, making countless lives tremble with fear. In a certain planet, whoosh whoosh, spaceships arrived at this place one after another, and creatures that resembled monkeys, had tails, and resembled humans were dropped into the planets one after another. They are scions, born with strong fighting power and aggressive blood flowing through them. What is this place? Where is the Lord Kami? Why is the Lord Kami missing? Has the Lord Kami abandoned us? No, not really. This is a survival test given to us scions by the gods. As long as we, the scions, pass the test, we can see the gods again. We, the scion race, are the strongest fighting race and are omnipotent. We must occupy this planet first. The scions roared one by one. They only have fighting instincts. Even if the blood in their bodies is locked by the gene lock, their fighting power far exceeds that of ordinary life. And once they break through the gene lock, their strength will instantly soar. 10 times or even hundreds of times more. Even once they are injured, they will get stronger as they fight. On the other hand, among the various planets in the Supreme Universe, the entire race of life also appears in the sky above each life planet. There are battle angels guarding them next to them to ensure the safety of the entire race of life.
Wow.
In an instant, I saw a whole clan in the form of ceramics blowing gently, and suddenly thousands of Earth lives were swaying like this. It took only a day for this planet to be born. The planet is filled with billions of earthly beings. It is like a life that spreads the seeds of life, creating life in one planet after another. Moreover, life in these soils is extremely malleable and can survive even on a planet without soil, air, or sunlight, and can survive even in extremely cold or extremely hot conditions. Their bodies are extremely adaptable and can appear on any planet in extremely short-term environments. Because of this, there are 129,600 whole species of beings scattered among the planets in the Supreme Universe, constantly spreading the seeds of life and creating a large amount of life for the entire Supreme Universe. As time goes by, without the natives of the Supreme Universe knowing it, the number of beings in the entire Supreme Universe increases at a geometric rate. No one knows that a mysterious race is creating life crazily. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 8:29. At this moment, the origin of the six-path universe is at its deepest. A primitive ancient snake is entangled in it, as if it represents the original law, and it also seems to be the power of yin and yang, light and darkness, life and death, reincarnation, death, etc., and its body is filled with the power of incredible laws. Suddenly, he opened his eyes, revealing a terrifying light, which seemed to penetrate all the reality of the universe. Furukawa woke up at this time. Is it actually integrated to this extent? Furukawa was immediately pleasantly surprised. He found that when he was practicing in seclusion, the six paths conquered gods was extremely smooth. Due to the efforts of all beings in the six paths, the indigenous forces were retreating steadily. The power of the six paths of reincarnation eroded the origins of most of the 360 supreme universes. Thanks to this, the six paths universe swallowed up the huge source power, which greatly promoted the evolution of the six paths universe's origin, and the power of six paths reincarnation is also increasing day by day. The six paths universe evolution is equivalent to the Furukawa evolution, and the two complement each other and gain supreme benefits.
Wow.
In an instant, from the deepest part of the six-path universe, endless source power, like a vast ocean, crazily poured into Furukawa's original ancient snake body, poured into his limbs and bones. This ability is the purest and most essential origin energy of the cosmic sea. It is extremely pure. Compared with any holy medicine, the magic medicine is many times better. I can only see the energy in his body. The power of cosmic reincarnation is increasing crazily at a speed visible to the naked eye. The power of 100,000 cosmic reincarnations, the power of 500,000 cosmic reincarnations, the power of 1,000,000 cosmic reincarnations, the power of 2,000,000 cosmic reincarnations. In the end, the power has reached the power of 10 million universe reincarnations. It can be said that this is a sensational and vast force. Even the ordinary title of Lord of the Universe has to work hard for 10 million universe reincarnation years before it is possible to obtain such a huge reincarnation energy, and this can only be obtained under very smooth circumstances. If other things happen to them, these lords of the universe will not be able to peacefully practice tens of millions of cosmic reincarnations. After all, in such a long period of time, it is very likely that he will be attacked by the enemy and be seriously injured. Healing and recovering from serious injuries may take an unknown amount of time. Therefore, tens of millions of universe reincarnations are an unimaginably long time even for the title of Lord of the Universe. The power of 10 million cosmic reincarnations. Furukawa clenched his fist and felt an unprecedented power in his body. And this power is at least equivalent to 1/10 of the power of the Lord of the Universe with ancient titles such as the Nar, the Exterminator, and the Brain Eater. This is already incredibly powerful. Even if it is placed on the origin continent, it can definitely be regarded as an overlord-level existence. Any master of the universe must respect Furukawa and think that he is an extremely ancient existence. After all, the young master of the universe is basically, it is impossible to obtain the energy of such a terrifying cosmic reincarnation. Faintly, Furukawa felt that in the depths of his consciousness, tens of millions of cosmic reincarnations were also emerging, which seemed to go round and round, containing the incredible power of the law of the Great Road. He also sensed that his original ancient snake was many times bigger than before, entwining the 6 universes around and around, seeming to be transformed into reincarnation. Even every cell in his body seemed to be transformed into small universes, enough to accommodate countless lives.
Wow.
As Furukawa breathes, the entire 6 Paths universe seems to be breathing along with it. It seems to be a great life, swallowing the original energy of the cosmic sea. With the 6 Paths universe as the center, the huge chaotic vortex spread across billions of trillions of light-years in radius, producing earth-shattering chaotic phenomena. The internal volume of the 6 Paths universe was also further expanded, more than doubling before, and it was still at an extremely fast rate. The speed is expanding. This is not the end. This kind of power is estimated to be able to maintain its invincibility with ancient cosmic sea creatures like the Nar. Furukawa clenched his fists and was very excited. With the power of the supreme magic he mastered, coupled with the power of tens of millions of reincarnations in the universe, even if he encounters the Lord of the Universe like the Nar again, he will not be afraid at all, at least be able to escape unscathed. After reaching this level, the ordinary title of Lord of the Universe is difficult to kill, unless it is the Lord himself. After all, the Lord is the supreme existence, dominates everything, is unrivaled, and has more than one with the power of reincarnations in billions of universes. There are only 9 such invincible existences even in the vast origin continent, after countless reincarnations. It is conceivable that the power and greatness of the Lord are definitely not the ordinary title of Lord of the Universe. It's imaginable. Even Furukawa now can imagine how tyrannical the Lord is. However, the 360 Supreme Universe origins have been eroded to this extent so quickly. It seems that the power of the 6 realms of beings exceeds my expectations. Furukawa smiled slightly. According to his estimate, it will take an extremely long time for the 6 Paths reincarnation to swallow up all the 360 Supreme Universes. But now it seems that this time can be greatly advanced and even saved. Half. Obviously, he still underestimated the war potential of the 6 Paths of Samsara and the power of all living beings in the 6 Paths. It is impossible for the natives of the Supreme Universe to stop the attack of the gods of the 6 Paths of Samsara. It is estimated that it will not take long, 360 the Supreme Universe will completely collapse. But I don't know what happened during this period. At this moment, Furukawa closed his eyes, and his soul was instantly immersed in the 6 Paths of reincarnation.
Wow.
Almost instantly, countless memory fragments of time and space, recorded in the long river of time and space of 6 reincarnations, surged towards Furukawa's sea of consciousness like a tide. Such a huge amount of memory information is equivalent to the torrent of memories gathered by countless sentient beings. If he were the master of the ordinary universe, he would have been overwhelmed by these torrent of memories and become an idiot. But Furukawa is the title of the Lord of the Universe, has mastered the power of tens of millions of universe reincarnations, and has also comprehended the supreme deduction technique, such as the Chaos Bagua technique, turning his sea of consciousness into a super-intelligent brain. Although the torrent of these memories is extremely huge, it is obvious that his sea of consciousness is even larger, like an endless ocean, which is enough to easily accommodate these rivers. So that's it. 3 days and 3 nights passed. Furukawa opened his eyes, revealing a terrifying light. By sorting out these torrent of memories, he finally knew what happened during this period. He also knew about the 6 Paths of reincarnation. All kinds of strange things happened, none of which could be hidden from his investigation. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 830. A variable actually escaped from the parallel universe? And he also turned into a member of the 6 realms of sentient beings. To be honest, Furukawa was the most surprised when this happened. After all, those creatures in the parallel universe are just characters in his dreams, equivalent to false lives. Even if they look extremely real, they're still dream creatures. But this dream creature actually ran out of the dream, came to reality, and became a real person and a member of the 6 paths of beings. Even if Furukawa was in control of everything, he could not imagine such a change. Fortunately, at this moment, the 3 major titles of the Lord of the Universe, namely the Nar, the Exterminator, and the Brain Eater, are still in the state of gestation. Otherwise, if they discover this variable, they might follow them and find the only true truth.
Realm.
In this way, the entire 6 Paths universe will definitely face a terrible disaster. But no matter what, this variable has indeed appeared. Interesting. Furukawa touched his chin. To be honest, although he was very surprised, he felt that he could wait and see what happened. The emergence of such a variable would not be a bad thing for him. No one knew about this variable that escaped from the parallel universe. What changes will the 6 paths of reincarnation bring in the future? And as long as you master the true name of this variable, you will not be able to escape from the palm of your own hands, the master of the 6 paths of reincarnation, just like the monkey cannot escape from the palm of the Tathagata Buddha. Average. He's always in control. Did Xianxia Tianzuan do this? Furukawa immediately knew that the emergence of this variable was inseparable from Xianxia Tianzuan. When he fell into a deep sleep and practiced in seclusion, a ray of Xianxia Tianzuan's soul had secretly sneaked into the parallel universe. It was precisely because of the appearance of Xianxia Tianzuan. Only then did these creatures in the parallel universe know the existence of the only real world, which led to what happened later. It can be said that this was a butterfly flapping its wings, thus producing the butterfly effect. If there was no Xianxia Tianzuan, this would the variables may not appear. He actually mastered the art of dreams and created a nightmare world. Do you want to achieve enlightenment in your dreams? Furukawa naturally knows everything that Xianxia Tianzuan has done in the Supreme Universe. The other party has created a huge nightmare world in the Supreme Universe. As time goes by, this nightmare world will definitely swallow up the entire Supreme Universe. By then, I am afraid that this Supreme Universe, the universe, will turn into Zhuangzhou's eternal dream and become the master of dreams. The power of nightmares erodes the world, changes the laws of reality, and creates a world in the cracks. Is it a power born out of the art of parallel worlds? However, it is true that the power of dreams is omnipotent. Furukawa touched his chin. He got a certain degree of inspiration from Xianxia Tianzuan's practice. In fact, his parallel world technique can make huge progress and go further. The previous parallel world technique was just a supreme illusion is a defensive technique, a sealing technique, which can instantly trap enemies countless times more powerful than oneself. But in fact, this technique can also evolve into a supreme killing technique. If the parallel world technique is further developed, if it evolves, then this spell can affect reality. With one blow, it can instantly divide the real universe into countless parallel universes, divide real life into countless real clones, and destroy their bodies and souls. Cut into countless existences. In this way, no matter how powerful the enemy is, if it is cut into billions of clones in an instant, the power will be evenly distributed, and their power will be weakened to the extreme. If they want to restore their original strength, many avatars from other parallel worlds need to cross the multiverse and constantly kill their avatars in other universes. Just like Jet Li's movie universe wanted poster, a avatar chases and kills avatars in other parallel universes, thereby devouring this avatar. The energy gained quickly becomes stronger. The same principle applies. When this parallel world art is powerful enough to affect reality, It is not just a supreme illusion, but a real art that can cut the entire universe in an instant. Into a multiverse, into a real parallel universe world. Just like the multiverse, where the world tree and the star tree are located. Death, decay, decay, destruction, destruction, cutting, cause and effect, reincarnation, time and space, life and death. Furukawa was deeply immersed in the deduction of this supreme art. Every law of the avenue was integrated into the art of parallel worlds, helping him to deduce this supreme doomsday art to the extreme.
Boom.
In an instant, Furukawa had a flash of inspiration, and the sea of consciousness seemed to explode. He instantly deduced this technique to the extreme and obtained the advanced version of this technique. I see. Furukawa smiled slightly. He was extremely excited deep in his heart. He finally pushed this technique to its extreme, but it is no longer appropriate to call this technique the technique of parallel worlds. It can be called Ragnarok. Indeed, according to his deduction of this technique, once this doomsday technique is used, the gods can fall in an instant. Even ancient titles such as the Nar, the Brain Eater, and the Destroyer of all things are the Lord of the universe. Once struck by Ragnarok, their bodies and souls will be cut into countless pieces. No matter how powerful they are, once they are weakened into countless clones in parallel universes, it will be extremely easy to deal with them, and they will even be weakened. Become as powerful as Immortal. In this way, the gods will be knocked down to the mortal world and will no longer have extraordinary power. When they cross the multiverse and kill one clone after another, no one knows how long it will take. Very powerful. Furukawa clenched his fists. The previous parallel world technique was just an illusion. It created an extremely real illusion world, thus trapping extremely powerful enemies and making them unable to escape, just like an illusion cage. But it is different now. This technique directly affects reality and cuts reality. Under the shroud of the technique, this area can be cut into a multiverse area in an instant. Countless lives will be cut into countless clones, and even matter will be cut into countless. This it is an unavoidable cut. This kind of power is much more powerful than before. However, the power of this technique still needs to be perfected, and it is temporarily unable to deal with the Lord of the Universe, like the Nar. Furukawa touched his chin, a little regretful. If this technique reaches its peak, then with one blow, the Lord of the Universe, like the Nar, can be defeated. But in fact, it is not that simple. Just like the Nar with such a title as the Lord of the Universe, the soul and body have long been condensed to the extreme, and the Hunyuan is one. It is almost impossible to separate their bodies and souls, unless his power surpasses them. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 8:31. However, the art of Ragnarok is not just as simple as cutting into parallel universes. This is only the first step of Ragnarok. The second step will not be carried out until the multiverse and parallel time and space are formed. That is the collapse of time and space, the collapse of the universe, and everything returning to chaos. It is as if the life of the universe has come to an end and has entered the reincarnation of the next era. But with the power of the Snake of Wishes, he was able to achieve perfection with almost no flaws. In an instant, he forged a cosmic treasure-level magic weapon. Moreover, the functions of this cross-universe chat group were much greater than what he imagined at the beginning. Before, he just wanted to forge a universe to find the coordinates of other universes. It's just a secret treasure, but now it seems that the power of this cross-universe chat group is beyond my imagination. Those hosts who join the chat group can not only chat on it, but also upload skills, magic weapons, etc. to the group. Treasures can even be transferred between each other. This is simply a large-scale war alliance system. Once established, it is equivalent to uniting the strong men from all major universes, and mastering this chat group system is equivalent to mastering the authority to command these powerful men. At this moment, the Lord of the Inner Demon was also stunned. It was in a daze at first, and had no idea what was going on. It had been beaten to a pulp by Furukawa before. But after the incident was over, it suddenly realized that it has really become a magic weapon, and it is also a cross-universe chat group system. As the tool spirit of this chat group system, although it does not have much combat power, its auxiliary abilities are very powerful, so powerful that it's a bit jaw-dropping. To be honest, it doesn't know when it will be powerful enough. At this moment, the Lord of the Inner Demon is ecstatic. If he can take the opportunity to escape, then the world is so big that he can't let it go. The master of his inner demons does whatever he wants. Blah blah blah. Before the Lord of the Inner Demon could come up with any escape plan, at this moment, Furukawa condensed the venom of a primitive ancient snake from his body and immediately dripped onto the system. Ah! The Lord of the Inner Demons immediately let out a shrill scream. This primitive ancient snake venom is really terrifying. It contains immortality, corrosion, poison, deprivation, devouring, and other properties. It can be said to be the essence of Furukawa's life. It can be regarded as a bloodline magical power that he has possessed since birth, but he rarely uses such venom, but every time he uses it, it has earth-shattering effects. I remember when he was still very weak, he could easily use the venom of the original ancient snake. The refining chaos magic weapon is enough to prove the tyranny of these venoms. And now that he has been promoted to the realm of the title of Lord of the Universe, with the terrifying power of 10 million universe reincarnations, it is simply a piece of cake to refine this cross-universe chat group system. One thing.
No.
The Lord of the Inner Demon screamed. It was extremely frightened. Before, it was the free Lord of the Inner Demons. If given a chance, it could escape in an instant and hide in the gaps in the hearts of all living beings. But now it is different. It has been refined into a secret treasure of the universe. It is no longer invisible and can easily hide the inner demons in the gaps in the hearts of all living beings. So it was suddenly controlled by Furukawa's venom and was completely refined. Being controlled by Furukawa, the souls have signed a slave contract. It can be said that as long as Furukawa has a thought, he can make the master of the inner demon come back to life and lose all his power. Of course, killing the master of the inner demon will not kill him, but it is easy for the Lord of Inner Demons to suffer torture that is more painful than death.
How?
Are you resistant? Didn't you say you surrendered to me before? Furukawa raised his eyebrows. No. Master, I was just too surprised and frightened just now, so I instinctively resisted. If he had known that the master wanted to refine this system, Xiao would definitely not have resisted and would have completely opened his heart. The Lord of the Inner Demons said flatteringly. As the Lord of the Inner Demons, he is the ancestor of the demonic way and one of the oldest chaos demon gods. Naturally, he knows what it means to be a good man and never suffer the consequences. Now that he has admitted defeat, that is the end of the matter. Even if it cries, howls, and roars, it will not change any facts. This is just the lamentation of a bereaved dog, not worth mentioning. Usually hates this kind of life. So when it falls into such a situation, the worst thing is when it is in a situation what it thinks of is still to endure. To endure, it must continue to endure. Even when it is not completely sure of resisting and completely sure of turning over, it needs to be patient and restrain its fangs and claws. When it is absolutely sure to escape from the demon Furukawa, it will kill it with one strike. Otherwise, it can only endure and let this demon take it lightly. Therefore, the Lord of the Inner Demon showed extremely humility and seemed to have no intention at all. Although he is not happy, he should try his best to do things for Furukawa so as to relieve Furukawa's wariness. That's good. Furukawa smiled slightly. He naturally knew what the Lord of the Inner Demons was thinking, but villains have their own ways of using villains, and gentlemen have their own ways of using gentlemen. The entire force is filled with gentlemen, and there are no villains. They are all villains. A man is absolutely useless without a gentleman. If the water is clear, there will be no fish. If a man is too careful, there will be no disciples. This is the way for the master to control him. He needs the master of inner demons to do his best to do things for him and spread this cross-universe chat. Groups, find the space coordinates of one universe after another, and find food for the 6 reincarnations. So even if the Lord of the Inner Demon has some evil intentions, as long as it is not too outrageous, it will not cause any harm. Now that you have taken shape, let's get started. Go to the Cosmic Sea and find for me the many universes scattered in the Cosmic Sea, even the chaotic universe. Furukawa pointed lightly.
Boom tilde tilde.
In an instant, the black ball of light exploded in vain and split into 129,600 black light points in an instant. Whoosh whoosh. These black light spots instantly flew out towards the outside of the six-path universe, seeming to be searching for the breath of the universe. The speed was incredibly fast, faster than the ordinary title of Lord of the Universe. And after a while, after absorbing enough chaotic energy, each black light point exploded in vain and continued to split into 129,600 black light points. These black light points are the clones of the cross-universe chat group, which can, with billions of incarnations, as long as enough energy is accumulated, it can split again and again, looking for one universe after another. As time goes by, the cross-universe chat group system can have countless clones, spreading across countless universes in the Universe Sea, looking for countless hosts. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 835. At this moment, Furukawa's heart moved. He sensed such a vast and huge chaotic phenomenon, which seemed to attract the attention of other ancient creatures in the Cosmic Sea. Just now, his strength had been greatly improved, and he had the power of 10 million cosmic reincarnations, which made him the six-path universe evolved and produced huge energy fluctuations. As a result, the true form of the six-path universe was revealed outside the Cosmic Sea. It was so good that 7 cosmic sea monsters who happened to be passing by sensed this. Chaos vision. They also suddenly discovered the existence of the Six Paths universe. And they are also the famous 7 sea monsters in the Cosmic Sea. Each one has the power of millions of cosmic reincarnations, and they have been rampant in the Cosmic Sea for a long time. They make a living by preying on the elementary universe and hunting life in the Cosmic Sea. They are notorious. What is this thing, and why does it produce such a huge chaotic phenomenon? Could it be that some cosmic secret treasure has been born?
A sea monster said.
It noticed the situation in the Six Paths universe and sensed huge chaotic fluctuations in the distance, as well as endless energy tides. Even though it has lived for countless epochs, there are still very few similar energy tides.
Few.
No. This is not a secret treasure of the universe, but a universe, a chaotic universe, and it does not look like an ordinary chaotic universe. It must be the top among many chaotic universes. The other sea monster shouted excitedly. Its eyes were extremely sharp, and it instantly discovered traces of the Six Paths universe. It also recognized that it was the famous Chaos universe, and its heart was filled with excitement and joy. No way, we are so lucky that we can actually find a chaotic universe. If it could swallow the energy of this chaotic universe, the benefits would be unimaginable. Another sea monster shouted out. It was simply ecstatic. Being able to encounter a chaotic universe in the boundless sea of universe was no different from pie in the sky. It was also like an ordinary person winning a billion-dollar jackpot. It has lived for so many years and has never encountered any chaotic universe. Stop dreaming and still want to devour the chaos universe. You cannot break through the chaos universe's defense alone. Unless you are the most powerful lord of the universe, no one can hope to break through the chaos universe's defense and enter inside. Another sea monster sneered. It was very calm. Although they are very lucky to encounter a chaotic universe, it does not mean that they can break through the defense of the chaotic universe and obtain a lot of benefits. In fact, the gate of eternal life alone defense is enough to easily prevent them from entering. No matter how they attack, they will not be able to harm the chaotic universe at all. What a pity! It seems that we can only sell information about the location of this chaotic universe. Yes, I guess this kind of information is very valuable and can make a fortune. Although we cannot break through this chaotic universe and obtain the greatest benefits, we can still profit from it. It's a pity that we are not strong enough. If we are strong enough, we can try to break through the entire chaotic universe and obtain all the benefits. By then, our strength will be greatly improved. Stop wasting time and be self-aware. The seven-headed cosmic sea monsters were talking a lot, staring at the Six Paths universe with burning eyes. Although they were unable to break through the defenses of the Chaos universe and unable to devour the Chaos universe, they still had a way to make a profit, and that was to sell this news. After all, Chaos, there are really too few universes in the vast and boundless cosmic sea. They are just like pearls in the ocean. They can be encountered, but cannot be sought. Many cosmic sea monsters can't be found even after traveling for millions of cosmic reincarnations. You may not be able to encounter a chaotic universe. As a result, it is conceivable that if the information about the chaotic universe is leaked, it will definitely cause countless ancient creatures to go crazy. Although they cannot break through the defense of the chaotic universe, some powerful universe overlords have such ability. For such a cosmic overlord is a supreme adventure. Therefore, this news will definitely sell for a sky-high price. This is like ordinary people encountering an oil field that is difficult to exploit. It is not that simple to exploit the oil field. It requires all kinds of equipment, require their own sales channels, and the cost is simply inestimable. So the best way for ordinary people is to sell the news about this oil field and let the rich come to exploit it. We cannot let these space sea monsters escape. At this moment, Furukawa naturally sensed the breath of these seven-headed sea monsters and also sensed their conversations. If they escaped and spread this news, he didn't know how many powerful enemies he would provoke. Originally, suppressing the three cosmic overlords took a lot of effort from him. If a few more equally powerful masters of the universe showed up, he would probably be dead. Therefore, no matter what, this seven-headed sea monster must be kept completely suppressed in this place. Although most of his power is to maintain the supreme magic of parallel world, he is different from the past. He has the power of tens of millions of universe reincarnations. Even if he only uses a part of it, it's enough to kill these sea monsters. By the way, I happened to develop a doomsday spell just now. Let's try the power of this spell first. In an instant, Furukawa remembered the doomsday magic he had learned before, Ragnarok. Although he had already deduced it, he didn't know how powerful it was. The appearance of these seven-headed sea monsters from the cosmic sea can be used as a test the target. Thinking of this, he did not hesitate and took action immediately. The body of the primitive ancient snake immediately appeared on the periphery of the entire six-path universe, showing its huge true body and exuding an aura that had never been seen in eternity. What? In an instant, the seven-headed sea monsters were all frightened. They immediately sensed Furukawa's existence and saw a vast ancient snake emerging from the chaotic universe. Even though they had been rampant in the cosmic sea for countless years, they sensed Furukawa's presence. When he breathed, everyone was so frightened that they trembled and were extremely afraid. Damn it, this chaotic universe has long been occupied by other masters of the universe. This is the top overlord of the universe. It has at least tens of millions of cosmic reincarnation powers. It is invincible. Please retreat quickly. Have we arrived at this monster's hunting ground? Run away quickly. The seven-headed sea monster shouted loudly. They have been able to run rampant in the cosmic sea for such a long time. They rely on caution and bullying. If they can beat them, they will fight. If they can't beat them, they will run away. If there is a 50-50 split, they will run away quickly. In short, the winning rate is not above 90%. They will run away quickly to avoid all dangers. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 836. Because of this, Although this seven-headed sea monster only has the power of millions of cosmic reincarnations, it has survived for a long, long time and has never encountered much danger. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, they were incredibly fast and merged into the chaotic airflow, becoming invisible. They turned around and ran away without any intention of competing with Furukawa. But at this moment, Furukawa took action and pointed lightly.
Boom tilde tilde.
With this finger, a black light spot instantly appeared. No, this was not a black light spot, but a black hole that swallowed everything in the world and countless substances. And this black hole is like the origin of the birth of the universe and the first singularity of the universe. It condenses the 3,000 laws of the universe and seems to encompass all the power in the world. In an instant, the entire black hole exploded and expanded rapidly, covering an area of 100 million light-years in an instant at a speed that exceeded the speed of light many times.
What?
At this moment, the hairs of the seven-headed sea monsters stood up. They felt that they were enveloped in a boundless black hole and seemed to be wrapped in endless darkness. There is no air, no light, not even matter around. This is all darkness, the ultimate nothingness. Damn it! The seven-headed sea monsters roared, and terrifying power erupted from them, trying to tear apart the dark sky, but no matter how they blasted out their power, it was like sinking into the sea, unable to shake this place at all. It seemed that they were trapped in a dark universe. Blah blah. But the next second, light seemed to be born in this boundless dark area, as if it was the first light at the beginning of the universe, tearing apart the thick black curtain and dividing the entire universe into two halves. But this is just the beginning. From this light, countless rays of light split, seeming to cut the entire area into billions of pieces, as if to completely separate the area. What happened? The seven-headed sea monsters were suddenly stunned. They felt that these lights were shining on themselves, and they almost didn't feel anything. Their bodies and souls were cut into billions. And they didn't feel any pain, as if this was of course.
Whoosh.
One after another parallel worlds are born in this place. It seems that this area has turned into a miniature multiverse, and all matter has been equally cut into billions. Our power is diminishing. What is going on? Damn it, what did this monster do to us? And why did this happen? Damn it, it's really hateful. We seem to have many more clones. I can feel that there are billions of selves in this area. What is happening? The sea monsters all screamed in fear. They were completely confused. Even if they have lived for such a long time, they have never encountered such a thing. With just a finger, the entire area seemed to be struck by a wave of the spell shrouded the area, causing the area to condense into a multiverse, and all matter was equally cut into billions of parts. What frightened them most was that they didn't feel anything, as if their bodies lacked soul and matter. It is a matter of course. And this is the horror of Ragnarok. When the magic comes, it can instantly distort the soul perception of life, making them instinctively think that all this is normal, and their soul and material lack, it is also a matter of course. Even if one is missing a leg or an arm, it is normal. By the time they notice it, it is already too late. It can be said that when Furukawa used this doomsday technique, it enveloped with a radius of 100 million light-years. This area has been shrouded in doomsday spells and condensed into a micro-universe in an instant. Within the area shrouded in this micro-universe, all living things will be cut into countless clones, as if they are parallel to the mirror. The world is normal. However, these creatures are not aware of it at all. Instead, they think it is a matter of course. The art of parallel worlds that works on reality can also be called the art of cutting parallel worlds. Furukawa was amazed and admired the power of this technique. When this technique is bombarded, a small parallel universe can be created in an instant. In the area covered by the technique, nothing in the world can escape and can only be absorbed into it. In this parallel universe, powerful life entities will also split into countless individuals, and their strength will be weakened to the extreme. If these life entities distributed in major parallel universes want to gather together, They must cross other parallel universes and kill the selves in other parallel universes. The problem is that defeating yourself is the most difficult thing. Even your own enemy is yourself, and no one wants to be the one who is fused. So you want to defeat yourself in countless parallel time and space and become the only one. It is an extremely difficult thing to do, and it is almost impossible to succeed. But this is just the beginning. The Doomsday Spell of Ragnarok not only cuts the world into countless parallel time and space, but its most important it is to simulate a micro-universe, create a micro-universe, and then accelerate the evolution of the universe, causing the universe to fall into the cycle of epochs and doomsday collapse. In this way, everything will be annihilated in the Big Bang and the collapse of the universe. This is the real in Ragnarok. Countless lives and countless gods were destroyed in the collapse of the era. In the collapse of the universe, everything was completely reduced to chaos.
Boom, ..
In an instant, this micro-universe accelerated its evolution, and every parallel time and space seemed to have reached the end of the universe, as if it had entered a cycle of collapse. Parallel time and space exploded one after another, bursting with destruction, annihilation, destruction, death, decay, etc., and everything came to an end.
No.
The clones of the sea monsters let out shrill screams. They howled in various parallel time and space. If they still have the strength to be called the Lord of the Universe, they may be able to survive the reincarnation of the universe and escape the Big Bang. The problem is their strength has long been weakened to the extreme. No matter how strong their individual strength was before, after dividing it by billions, it is still a very small number. Every sea monster clone is worth mentioning and vulnerable to a blow. There is no way to escape such a universe collapse, Ragnarok.
Bang, bang, bang.
In an instant, this newly created micro-universe exploded in an instant, producing the devastating power of universe collapse. It seemed that everything was destroyed, returning to chaos, returning to nothingness. All energy and matter were completely annihilated. The famous 7 sea monsters of the universe, a monster known as the Lord of the Universe, was also completely destroyed in this collapse of the universe, and both its soul and body were completely destroyed. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 837. It's incredible. Furukawa stared at the scene in front of him and was immediately amazed. It was also the first time that he saw a universe enter a state of destruction and collapse. This is the end of one universe's reincarnation and the starting point of the next one. When the universe collapses, everything returns in the time of chaos. All living things will become extinct. Ragnarok. To escape the destruction of the universe and the power of epical reincarnation, one must at least be promoted to the realm of the primary universe lord. Only in this way can one escape the power of the Big Bang and survive another cosmic reincarnation. Originally, these 7-headed sea monsters also had the strength to survive the Big Bang. Unfortunately, their strength had long been cut into billions and weakened into countless clones. They were no longer even the Lord of the Universe. Naturally, they will not survive the collapse of the era and the power of Ragnarok. This is the power of Ragnarok, the Doomsday Spell. Even if it is as powerful as the Lord of the Universe, it may be difficult to withstand the power of this Doomsday Spell. Unless the other party practices only in this way can the soul and body be integrated into an inseparable state that cannot be separated by the art of parallel worlds. However, there are still few creatures who want to reach this state in the boundless sea of the universe. Very few. This is the most essential chaotic energy, origin energy. In an instant, Furukawa's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He found that in the center of the chaotic vortex in front of him, a ball of extremely pure origin energy emerged, so huge that any master of the universe would salivate. Obviously, these origin energies, they are all remnants of the 7-headed sea monsters that were called Lords of the Universe. They were destroyed in the Big Bang and the cycle of eras. But the origin energy in them still remains, and they are swallowed and absorbed by this chaotic vortex. Basically, they're the most powerful. The essence is all left in this place. It turns out that after destruction comes rebirth, and after destruction comes creation. Furukawa clenched his fists. He felt that the micro-universe that originally collapsed completely, returned to chaos, and returned to nothingness, was destroyed along with everything. But after a while, an endless vortex of vitality was born from the depths of the void. It seemed to be from the chaotic void. Among them, many great laws were bred, and endless matter was bred. The collision of these great laws and chaotic matter gave birth to magic weapons and chaotic creatures. He suddenly remembered the countless chaos demon gods when chaos first emerged. The birth of the chaos universe is probably due to the rebirth of the chaotic universe after it fell into destruction and collapse. Then these chaotic materials, huge life energy, and various laws of the Great Road were fused together, and many chaotic demon gods were born. This is the first of the chaos. A group of creatures. To be honest, if enough time is given to this micro-universe and the endless chaotic energy and origin ability are condensed, the first batch of life may really be born. Even if this is just a life born in a micro-universe, life is also extremely weak, but even so, it is an innate creature with endless potential. But for him, creating life is nothing. Not surprising, it is better to swallow all these origin energies, which will affect his the benefits are greater. Devour. Furukawa swallowed it in one gulp, swallowing up all the origin energy of the entire micro-universe. At this moment, he felt that every primitive ancient snake cell in his body was screaming with excitement. This kind of life, the essence, is a great tonic for someone like him, the Lord of the Universe, no less than any magical medicine or holy medicine. If all these origin energies can be swallowed and absorbed, the power of reincarnation in his body will definitely be able to. I don't know how much training time I can save by improving a lot.
Wow.
The next second, Furukawa activated the law of the Great Tao in his body, and it seemed that his body had turned into a furnace of the Great Tao, refining the origin energy. In an instant, the huge origin energy was like turbulent seawater, pouring into his limbs and bones, and into every cell in his body. And the power of cosmic reincarnation in him is also increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The energy previously lost due to the doomsday spell of Ragnarok is now made up for. At the same time, the power of essence and blood in the seven-headed sea monster has also been integrated into the six-path universe. It seems that every piece of flesh and blood has turned into a huge land, every blood vessel has turned into a raging river, and every hair has turned into a dense forest. Many strange creatures were also born on this land, and they all came from the bloodline of space sea monsters. It can be said that these powers of essence, blood, and flesh are of great benefit to the six-path universe. They expand the size of the entire six-path universe and increase the number of infinite creatures. It's a pity that we wizards don't believe in heaven, earth, or ghosts and gods. We only believe in science, truth, and all natural laws, so we are destined to be natural enemies with these gods. But teacher, why do those gods need believers? Asked a group of little wizards. It's very simple. The power of gods comes from believers. The more believers there are, the more powerful the gods are. If they lose believers, they will immediately die like a mortal who has lost food. The old wizard smiled slightly. So the gods are both powerful and weak. They need the support of all living beings, but they are also superior to all living beings. They are a group of thieves, stealing the wisdom and strength of all living beings. In the multiverse, many powerful gods have naturally been born. They control many powers in the universe, hold priesthoods, and absorb the huge power of faith of believers. Although in the multiverse, because of the relationship between countless parallel universes, the cultivation talents of countless people have been weakened, making them extremely weak by nature. In terms of individual strength alone, I am afraid that it is not as good as life in other universes. The problem is that in this multiverse there is an advantage, That is, the number of people is not comparable to the number of people in other universes. It is like the number of people in a universe is 10 billion, but in the multiverse, due to being cut into countless parallel time and spaces, the number of people is increasing at a rate of geometric progression, and the population will be measured in trillions. Because of this, the size of the population represents the size of the power of faith. The greater the population, the more power of faith can be born.
More.
Even if it is just a wisp of the power of faith, but when accumulated into a small amount, the sand becomes a tower and countless eras are gathered together. The power of faith will be incredibly huge. Therefore, in the multiverse, people who use faith to become gods were born. The method of cultivation is to gain a lot of power of faith by spreading one's own power, gathering believers, protecting believers, and gaining a lot of power of faith. Since the population of the multiverse is too large, it can provide an incredible amount of power of faith, so faith becomes a god. There are many more gods than in other universes. In each parallel universe, the number of gods born is simply countless. I see. Furukawa immediately understood why the World Tree Girl had progressed so fast. It had a lot to do with the characteristics of the multiverse, which was the constant violence and splitting into other parallel universes. Every time there is an additional parallel time and space, it is equivalent to a huge increase in the population. Of course, in this way, due to the splitting of a parallel time and space, the combat power level of the overall life will naturally be weakened. The problem is that if there is no invasion by foreign enemies, no matter how weak the individual strength is, they will only be able to compete with each other. It's just a comparison with other universes. If you are in the multiverse, you're still comparing yourself with your own people, so it basically has no impact. And the most important point is that doing this actually has huge benefits. Splitting countless parallel universes is quite the girl in the world tree has countless clones. Although the strength of each clone is not very good, it is completely inferior to the normal body. The problem is that if it is practiced, it is completely cheating. Each clone is practicing at the same time. At the same time, we are making progress, and we are still practicing different techniques. As time goes by, we accumulate bit by bit and continue to improve. This will lead to a huge improvement in the speed of the body's cultivation, and the efficiency of cultivation is incredibly fast. Just like Naruto in the world, after learning the art of multiple clones, the results of each clone's training can be fed back to the main body. As can be imagined, the effect of Naruto's 1-year training is equivalent to several years of ordinary ninja training. 10 years. As time goes by, the gap is getting bigger and bigger invisibly. If the strength of each clone has grown to the same level as the main body, then the horror of this multiverse will be simply unimaginable. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 843. Teacher, I heard that there seems to be a war between gods. Is this true? A little wizard asked curiously. Of course it's true. The old wizard smiled slightly. The strength of a god depends entirely on the number of believers. The greater the number of believers, the stronger the god will be. It is said that some powerful gods will even occupy one world after another and convert the lives of the entire world into believers of this god, which will give them great power. The problem is that the number of believers is limited, and there are too many gods. In order to increase their power, seize territory, and increase the number of believers, these gods often launch wars in the name of jihad. In fact, although we wizards are the biggest enemies of these gods, they are not the most important enemies. Their enemies are always the gods themselves, and they are the undying enemies. In fact, this is also true. In this multiverse, because too many gods have been born, these gods have become gods through belief. There are other ways to become gods, but they are much more difficult than becoming gods through belief. There is simply no level of difficulty. Most of the gods became gods through the path of belief, and because there are so many gods taking this path, it is like thousands of troops crossing a single plank bridge. In this way, the number of believers is crucial. Whoever has more believers will be more powerful. This is also the root of the gap in strength between gods. Therefore, in order to snatch believers, gods constantly launch wars of faith and attack the territories of other gods, stealing the number of believers and increasing the population of their own territories. Some powerful gods even directly crossed the multiverse and went to other universes to kill their clones in other parallel time and space to enhance their own strength. But although they are all clones, each clone they are all independent, with their own experiences, interpersonal relationships, thoughts, and views. So in fact, each avatar only looks the same, but is actually a completely different life, so they naturally don't want to be alone. After being killed, they hope that they're the last one to survive. Because of this, wars between gods often occur throughout the multiverse. A large number of gods fall every moment, and a large number of believers change their beliefs. This also leads to war in the multiverse is frequent, and a large number of lives will die every moment. This also accelerates the evolution of the entire multiverse and promotes the process of history. In fact, war is often a catalyst for technology, and every war will force itself to accelerate evolution. Otherwise, it will disappear in the dust of history. As for the wizard civilization, although it is also the enemy of the gods, the problem is that wizards do not actually threaten the foundation of the gods and have no intention of plundering the believers of the gods. So, to a certain extent, it is said that the two are actually inseparable. If the gods united, with the power of the gods, the wizard civilization would have been sieved long ago, and it would be impossible to survive to the point where it is today. It can be said that the wizarding civilization is actually trying to survive in the cracks, and it begins to thrive amidst the suspicion and wars of the gods. And this is actually an opportunity for the wizards. Teacher, if this is the case, which one of the gods is the most powerful? A group of little wizards were extremely curious. Since there are as many gods as stars, there are naturally 3, 6, or 9 levels of distinction among the gods. There are weak gods, and there are gods that are above all. Which one is the most powerful? To be honest, no one is very clear about this kind of thing. After all, each god has different methods. To a certain extent, different gods restrain each other. It is difficult to say who is the most powerful. To a certain extent, a certain god, maybe they can kill other gods. The situation is extremely complicated. The old wizard smiled slightly. Of course, even so, there are a group of ancient and powerful gods standing above the gods. These gods are undoubtedly powerful. You also need to be careful to avoid offending these ancient gods who cannot be offended. He looked at the many little wizards. Who are they? A group of little wizards were extremely curious. For example, the original dragon of the dragon clan, the 10,000 mother dragon god, all dragons believe in it. The old wizard talked eloquently. The Titan god of the Titan clan controls the power of thunder and storm, holds a spear, and has unparalleled combat power. Countless gods have died under its spear. The giant god of the giant family, he is born powerful and sacred. It is said that with his bare hands, he can smash a vast world with one punch. He once spanned the multiverse, fought with other gods, and was besieged by thousands of gods. Being able to escape unscathed is extremely powerful. The elven god of the elven clan is also extremely powerful and beautiful. He has created the Fountain of Eternity, the Well of the Full Moon, and other artifacts. Although he rarely uses them, it is enough to scare other gods. At this point, he paused and then continued. There is also the god of light who controls the power of light, the god of darkness who controls the darkness, the mother goddess who controls the earth, the god of sky who controls the sky, and the god who controls the ocean. The god of the sea, the god of Hades who controls the underworld, the god of death who controls death, etc. These are all unimaginably powerful gods. He said many messages from the gods in one breath. Teacher, since the gods are so powerful and almost invincible, can we wizards compete with the gods? A group of young wizards feel that the wizarding world is in danger. They are being watched by countless gods and are in danger of overturning at any time. No need to worry. The old wizard laughed. Our wizard world has survived for so long in a world surrounded by gods. Naturally, we are capable. Why are those gods so afraid of us wizards? There is only one reason, and that is that we wizards have mastered the method of becoming gods, so powerful that it can even kill gods. Kill the god? Is this true? The eyes of a group of young wizards lit up, and their moods were surging. They killed gods with mortal bodies. What a feat it was! In the world of gods, it was simply unimaginable. Of course it is true. Merlin, the most powerful wizard in our wizarding world, once personally took action and used witchcraft to kill 9 gods and shocked the gods. This allowed the wizarding world to survive without being tainted by other gods. The old wizard touched his gray beard. Mortals become gods. Wizards kill gods. These words made many young wizards extremely excited. This is simply a feat, a great example. If Merlin can do it, then maybe it can also be done. And this is also the way for mortals to compete with the gods, the method that makes the gods fear them. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 844. Believe in God? Furukawa touched his chin. At this moment, he also figured out why the multiverse where the world tree is located evolved so fast, beyond his previous imagination. This is because the multiverse has a huge number of life forms and has contributed a lot of life. The power of faith. As the master of this multiverse, and the God who created all things, the power of faith obtained by the world tree girl is simply endless and unimaginable. Even if the power of faith contributed by each mortal is very weak, it is better than the number was extremely large, which also led to the world tree girl getting huge benefits from it, making her progress rapidly and take off while lying down. As for the other gods, also because of the power of faith, they progressed very quickly one by one and became gods easily. Of course, there are shortcuts to becoming gods, which also makes it extremely difficult for these gods to go further. After all, the several major realms of the realm of gods, even if they differ by one major realm, are geometric progressions, which also leads to the believers that these gods need the quantity needs to increase exponentially. For example, the divine weapon realm requires 100 million mortal believers, and the divine general realm may require 1 trillion mortal believers. The number of believers required by the divine king realm cannot be described in numbers. So the more in the later stages, the more difficult it is to practice, and the more resources and power of faith are needed. If the power of faith is not enough, you will be trapped in the current stage and will never be able to achieve a breakthrough. The same is true for the world tree girl. At the beginning, her progress was extremely fast, and she increased the power of reincarnation to 1,000 universes in a short period of time. However, it is not so easy to increase the power of reincarnation to 10,000 universes, 100,000, or 1 million universes. The difficulty is many times more difficult than it was at the beginning. After all, a believer at the level of a god emperor can't compare to how many mortal believers he can, and he can provide huge power of faith at all times, which is beyond imagination. If hundreds of millions of believers in the god emperor were added together, the power of such faith would be even more unimaginable. Just like countless streams coming together may form a big river or even an ocean, but countless rivers or even countless oceans can come together. Together, that is the ocean world, which is not comparable to streams. It is also like comparing the agricultural era and the industrial era. When a certain quality is reached, quantity actually does not play that much importance. Exactly because of this, her cultivation method is fast in the early stage, but it becomes more and more difficult in the later stage, and the resources required are unimaginable. Of course, the multiverse of the world tree is not that simple. Once successful, then as she continues to evolve, the power of the multiverse is simply unimaginable. Each parallel universe is equivalent to the normal supreme universe, so the power of hundreds of trillions of parallel universes superimposed is really incredible. It can be said that this is a great late stage. The time and resources required to practice this method are extremely terrifying and far beyond the imagination of ordinary universe masters. By the way, I wonder what the star tree universe is like. Furukawa squinted his eyes, and with a slight finger, he clicked on the star tree universe.
Boom tilde tilde.
In an instant, a ray of his consciousness penetrated into the star tree universe, and suddenly the extremely huge information flow was like an ocean. Generally, it poured into the depths of a sea of consciousness. Then all kinds of information about the star tree universe were clearly displayed in front of him. At this moment, in XX universe, Xianhuang Star, Tianshui City, in a certain high school classroom, a bald teacher was speaking impassionately about the history of the universe, and a group of students were listening to the teacher's lectures carefully. The entire universe is composed of countless planets, one huge galaxy after another, vast and boundless, in which many living planets were born, giving birth to countless lives, and our Xianhuang Star is one of the greatest, as one of the living planets. We can also be ranked in the top 10 in the entire universe. The bald teacher said proudly. In the star tree multiverse, there are no so-called small worlds, big worlds, etc. In this multiverse, there are only planets, satellites, stars, etc. In short, this is in the universe of stars, only planets exist. But even so, among countless planets, only a few planets can breed life. Most planets cannot breed life and are purely resource stars. And this Xianhuang Star is the famous life planet in the star universe. Its size is probably comparable to that of the prehistoric world, and it is one of the largest planets in the universe. Therefore, there are countless lives living on Xianhuang Star, and it contains abundant life energy. But you should pay attention to one thing, that is, we need to protect the planet we are on. It is precisely because of the existence of the planet that we can protect us from living in the extremely harsh environment of the void of the universe. The planet is also conscious, and its name is Gaia. Speaking of this, the bald teacher showed a look of reverence on his face. In fact, this is the characteristic of the star universe. Among the living planets, they have given birth to their own consciousness, wisdom, instinct, and emotions. Generally speaking, the way of heaven in the ordinary world is mechanical, cold, and ruthless, and it is impossible to give birth to wisdom. But in the star universe, these life planets have given birth to self-awareness, gathering the power of faith of billions of lives, making life the planet has wisdom. They are the masters of the entire planet, the only true gods, and maintain the movement of the planet's heaven. Since the planets have given birth to Gaia consciousness, the heaven has wisdom, and they understand the way to practice and can speed up the evolution speed inside the planet. In this way, the evolution speed of the star universe is extremely fast. As the evolution speed of the planets accelerates, the spiritual energy of the internal heaven and earth is rich, and the cultivation environment has become a holy land for cultivation, which also makes the life inside the planet progress extremely quickly. All life has benefited from the Gaia planet, and the two have become a mutually reinforcing relationship. After all, the stronger the sentient beings, the stronger the Gaia planet, and the stronger the Gaia planet, the greater the benefits that all sentient beings will naturally receive. But it is also because of this. Gaia consciousness was born on many planets. In order to evolve, they naturally need to devour a lot of resources, a lot of meteorites, a lot of planets, and a lot of energy. In fact, the Xianhuang Star was not that big in size at the beginning. However, as the planet continued to evolve and swallowed one star after another, the size of Xianhuang Star evolved to such an extent that it was comparable to the prehistoric world. This also attracted countless lives to live in Xianhuang Star, and also made Xianhuang Star Gaia. Also, from the ever-increasing number of lives, we gain a lot of power of faith. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 8, 45. Top 10? It seems that our Xianhuang planet is already the strongest king planet. A student said very proudly. Of course, although it is in the top 10, In fact, the top 10 planets are basically in the middle, but the ranking is different in each era. Being able to live on Xianxia star is simply a blessing. I don't know how many lives on other planets are envious, jealous, and hateful, but they are unable to immigrate here. How can it be so easy to obtain the right to live in Xianxia star? It is impossible for even top talents to move in. Yes, only us native beings can live in Xianxia star.
Many students were talking about it.
In the star universe, there are rankings between planets just like weapons, and they need to be compared. This is because even though the supreme universe is vast, the resources are not unlimited, especially it is under the situation that many Gaia planets are competing for resources. In order to compete for resources, many Gaia planets have launched wars in the universe. They are constantly killing each other, affecting one galaxy after another, and sweeping the universe. After time and time again, cruel wars, cruel competitions, countless casualties, constant comparisons, resulting in achievements, many life planets have begun to be ranked among countless lives in the entire universe. According to different strengths, cultivation, environment, potential, etc., many life planets have been selected. The 3,000 life planets are called 3,000 stars. They are the 3,000 most powerful planets in the star universe. They are supreme existences standing above countless stars, like stars arching over the moon, attracting countless stars in the universe. It is a paradise-like place where endless lives come to live. Of course, in addition to the 3,000 most powerful planets mentioned above, there are also black iron planets, bronze planets, silver planets, gold planets, platinum planets, and diamonds. Planets, star planets, king planets, strongest king planets, etc. are divided into different levels. In short, the higher the ranking, the more life can be attracted to live in it, and the strength will naturally be stronger. In order to compete for the ranking on the ranking list, many life planets, there are frequent wars and ranking matches. Xianxia planet is undoubtedly the strongest king planet. It can also be ranked in the top 10 in the entire universe, attracting countless super strong people to live there. Very good. It seems that you have also studied hard. Do you know how many cultivation systems we have? Hearing these words, the bald teacher was very satisfied. No. A student stood up. We have 2 major systems in total. One is the spiritual master, who uses mental power to control all weapons to fight. It can be regarded as a long-range combat system. The second is the warrior, which is a melee combat system, either with bare hands or with weapons in hand, etc. Of course, there are many classifications under the 2 major systems. After all, spiritual masters are different from mental masters, and warriors are also different from warriors. Well, you are right, but in addition to the 2 major systems, we also have a third major system, which is the summoning system, which can summon heroic spirits to fight for us. The bald teacher said in a deep voice, "Summoning heroic spirits." After hearing this, many students' eyes immediately shone brightly, and they were extremely excited. What is a heroic spirit? In fact, it is the dead after death, but it is not an ordinary dead, but a hero. Only the heroes who have left their names in history can become heroic spirits after death with supreme combat power. In fact, this is also a system unique to the planet Gaia. You must know that there is no hell in the star universe, but it will happen every moment. A large number of undead souls will die, and they will be scattered in every corner of the planet. If the planet has no intelligence and no soul, these undead souls will wander around the planet and eventually turn into evil ghosts, killing living creatures everywhere. Hundreds of ghosts are rampant. However, the Gaia planet has souls and intelligence, so in order to avoid these troubles, they lead all the dead into Gaia space. And Gaia space is a unique soul space, like a heavenly world, houses a large number of powerful dead people who will live in Gaia space after death. As for ordinary dead people who cannot become heroic spirits, they will naturally slowly disappear and return to the origin of the planet, and finally, it became the fertilizer of the planet. These dead people who entered the Gaia space became heroic spirits and the most loyal warriors of the Gaia planet. They had almost immortal bodies and spiritual wills. They could even continue to practice and devour the heaven and earth. With the power of faith in the world, they become gods after death. But the price is that they can only be attached to Gaia forever and become part of Gaia. Because of this, some special beings on the planet, through special rituals, interact with Gaia. When the heroic spirits in the subspace resonate and are recognized by the heroic spirits, they can summon the heroic spirits to fight with them. It is completely conceivable that these heroic spirits are all famous fighting heroes in history, and they continue to practice after death, swallowing up huge with the power of faith. The strength has been greatly improved. If an ordinary person summons a heroic spirit to possess him and assist him, this is equivalent to ascending to the sky in one step and instantly possessing the most powerful combat power, invincible. Therefore, the summoner in the star universe, it is also a famous profession, and its status is noble, equivalent to a noble. No matter where you go, you will be respected. However, there are really very few people who can summon heroic spirits, so this profession can only be regarded as a special profession. Cannot become a mainstream profession, and not everyone can practice it. Summon heroic spirits? This profession is really difficult. Is not that right? There are traces of other professions, but as a summoner profession, you don't know whether you can succeed at all. Sometimes the success of summoning is purely based on luck. Indeed, after all, the summoner must match the character and strength of the heroic spirit itself so that they can complement each other. If the gap is too big, it will basically not succeed. The entire Xianxia star is so big, but there are not many strong people who can summon heroic spirits. It is conceivable that the number is rare. But once you succeed, you will reach the sky in one step, which is equivalent to finding a protector. From then on, the sea and the sky will be brighter, and no one can stop it. In short, being able to become a summoner and summon heroic spirits is just like smoke coming from the ancestral graves. If we ordinary people want to succeed in summoning, it is basically impossible. Don't be wishful thinking. But I heard that a student from the school next door seemed to have successfully summoned a heroic spirit during the summoning ceremony and was immediately admitted to Xianxia University under special circumstances. Comparing people to each other is really infuriating.
Many students were talking about it.
All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 846. Summon Heroic Spirits? At this moment, Furukawa touched his chin. He also knew the characteristics of the star universe. One of the characteristics is the ability to summon heroic spirits. This ability is extremely powerful. The so-called heroic spirits are actually the dead. The souls of such dead are absorbed by Gaia afterwards. They transformed into immortal heroic spirits and were controlled by Gaia. They became a group of immortal and powerful warriors. The fact is that such heroic spirits are similar to Shura in the Six Paths universe. Moreover, they can also be summoned by ordinary people. Merging each other's strengths and being tempered from life to life, they continue to evolve and improve their strength. Even these heroic spirits come from the geniuses in history. Each one is the pride of heaven, with special abilities and combat effectiveness. Extremely astonishing. For example, the heroic spirit Guanyun was once a famous martial saint in Xianxia Star. He passed 3 levels and killed 5 generals. His strength was unparalleled. He could defeat 10,000 with one and was invincible. After becoming a heroic spirit, his strength improved by leaps and bounds. Riding a red rabbit horse, crossing the vacuum of the universe, slashing with a knife, the entire planet will be split in half. Many lives respect him as Guangong. Mantra: come and worship me, believe in Guangong, and have eternal life. The heroic spirit Zhao Kuo was once a famous military figure in the Warring States period. He was good at talking on paper, and his wisdom was astonishing. He surpassed all military advisors in the past. He was unmatched in his talk and eloquence. He is considered the first generation of internet trolls, keyboard warriors, and visionaries. Because of his actions, He once destroyed an unprecedented empire, even though it was his own country. If it performed normally, I'm afraid 3 of them would have to be destroyed. After becoming a heroic spirit, his ability has been brought to the extreme, reaching the level where he can follow his words. As long as he is within the scope of his ability, everything he says will definitely come true. He can conquer all enemies with his mouth. Catchphrase, "There's no one I can't kill." The heroic spirit Zhao Gao was once an eunuch beside a certain supreme emperor. He was a famous man who attempted to usurp the throne. He almost brought chaos to the world, devastated all living beings, was despicable and despicable. But even so, he left his name in history, became a heroic spirit, and even gained a special ability, betrayal. He can gain the trust of almost everyone and can transform into anyone. Unless Tu Cheong Dagger saw him and immediately betrayed him, the enemy would basically not be able to detect him. Catchphrase, "Brothers are meant to be betrayed." Heroic spirit Lu Sun. This person is a great literary giant in the history of Xianxia. His representative work is Diary of a Madman, leaving many famous quotes. After his death, he also became a heroic spirit and was respected by thousands of people. This is a cannibalistic society. Diary of a Madman. He obtained the black hole ability, which can swallow everything in the world as long as it is used. No matter what it is, it will be swallowed into the black hole and disappear into ashes. The catchphrase is, "I never said this." The heroic spirit Xu Qingchun, also nicknamed Lao Shi, was also a great writer comparable to Lu Sun. After his death, he became a heroic spirit, and his works are also immortal. Life is a joke, everything shows that. Soul Severing Gun, and Soul Severing Gun is also one of Lao Shi's masterpieces, leaving a huge reputation. In an instant, the Furukawa void was pressed, and the power of the immortal domain was crushed down. It was everywhere, covering all directions, and the immortal runes gathered together and bombarded the Hongmeng poisonous insect. Suddenly, its entire body was crushed to the ground at once, and it hit the ground hard, creating a huge, deep pit. The gravel splashed everywhere, making a crackling sound, and countless cracks appeared. It even felt his bones rattling, as if he was almost shattered into pieces by the shock. This cannot go on. The Hongmeng poisonous insect gritted its teeth. It knew that this was the home of this kid. It was surrounded by the immortal monuments of cosmic secret treasures. With the help of the power of the supreme dragon vein and the power of heaven and earth, it could immediately exert earth-shattering power, even if it was titled the Lord of the Universe. Facing the supreme dragon vein, superimposed with the power of the immortal monument, it will also be at a disadvantage and will be beaten extremely miserably and extremely embarrassed. If it continues like this, it may even die here. Void Poison Channel. The Hongmeng poisonous insect roared and sprayed out a terrible venom from its mouth, which instantly corroded the chaotic void. It actually tore the void directly and corroded a huge void channel. Even the immortal barrier, it was difficult to resist the venom that corroded the chaotic void. Bursts of thick black smoke appeared all around, like sulfuric acid, corroding in all directions. Whoosh! The next second, the black wings on the Hongmeng poisonous insect shook slightly, tearing apart the immortal suppressed by the domain. In a flash, it actually got into the void passage. It drilled directly into the void passage, and with lightning speed, quickly left the territory ruled by the original kingdom of God and left the immortal world. The range covered by the barrier. Interesting. Furukawa did not stop him, or he deliberately forced the Hongmeng poisonous insect to leave. After all, if the two masters of the universe had a life-and-death battle here, the entire primitive kingdom would be destroyed. So he used all his strength to force Hongmeng to leave. The poisonous insect left and found another battlefield. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this journey through the Fabelverse, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next chapter. Want to support the storytellers behind the scenes? Check the description for donation links, author credits, and more. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening.